learning to a whole new era of interactivity. Everything we study, we will now be able to experience in all three dimensions, something we never had when at least I was in school.
The use of MR in education will increase the level of engagement and understanding in students and can be applied to all disciplines.
One of my favorite modules in school was learning about the solar system. Today, I want to show you how we can learn the simple equation of time, speed, and distance in the context of our solar system. Let me bring up our solar system onto our screen. And that's our solar system. The blue dot is the Earth. From this distance, it looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you calculate the time taken for Chandrayaan to travel from Earth to the moon?
The simplest way to do that would be to use where time equals distance between the Earth and the moon, distance divided by the speed at which Chandrayaan travels. But as we can see using this incredibly powerful visually, the distance is not a straight path. The distance is not a straight path. The spaceship actually curves around the planet. Would be slightly but it becomes so easy to understand. But it becomes so easy to understand when you. By the way, seeing it like this really makes you appreciate the immense complexity of actually reaching. By the way, so let us give a big round of applause to appreciate the immense team of Chandrayaan of actually reaching the moon. So let us give a big round of applause to the all-women team of Chandrayaan.
Guys, that reminds me, did you know that the amount of fiber laid by Jio can actually circle the Earth 11 times?
That's incredible. And this technology and content is powered by yet another startup that Jio has invested in.
Can actually circle the Earth 11 times.
AI-powered learning platform. Now, let us move to the third and final MR feature that we're going to showcase tonight. And this technology and content is powered by yet another startup that Jio has invested in.
The larger the size of the screen, the more fun it is to watch your favorite content.
Learning platform.
So what if we could experience a movie as if we were in a large home theater simply by wearing our MR headset?
Entertainment in
to show you what
reality.
I mean, let me play one of the most popular movies that we have. The larger the size of the screen, the more fun it is to watch your favorite content. So what if we could experience a movie as if we were in a large home theater simply by wearing our MR headset? To show you what I mean, let me play one of the most popular movies that we have from Jio Cinema. So Isha, what do you think?
It's great, but what would make it even more captivating is if we could have the experience of a theater side.
Wait a second, Isha, it's possible. After all, we have an MR headset. In our headsets, we can actually watch the same movie. So Isha, what do you think? As if we are sitting in a large screen theater.
But what would make it even more captivating is if we could have the experience of a theater side.
Wait a second, Isha, it's possible. After all, we have an MR headset. In our headsets, we can actually watch the same movie as if we are sitting in a large screen theater. Let's try this.
तुम्हारी हुकूमत सूरज की तरह चढ़ती और ढलती है। एक दिन हमारी हुकूमत का सूरज भी ढलेगा और सवेरा रोशन होगा तुम्हारी हुकूमत से।
It's like you're sitting in a real cinema hall, isn't it?
Unbelievable. And there's so much more to show you, but this brings us to the end of our demos for today. So you can finally take our headsets off.
Now this mixed reality device, it's like you're sitting in a real cinema hall, isn't it? Jio Hollow Board.
Unbelievable.
And it is made by Tesseract,
and there's so
which is one of the
much more
startups
to
that
show you,
Jio has
but this
invested
brings
in.
us to the end of our
It will
demos
be available for
today.
purchase in the market very
So we
soon
can finally take our
and at an
headsets
extremely
off.
affordable price.
We
Now
hope
this
you enjoyed
mixed
the
reality
experience
device
of
that
these
you are seeing
demos
is
today.
called the Jio Hollow Board. And it is made by Tesseract, which is one of the startups that Jio has invested in. It will be available for purchase in the market very soon and at an
You,
extremely
our
affordable
customers,
price.
are at the heart of We hope you enjoyed the experiences of these demos today. Has been designed with the sole purpose of giving you a delightful experience.
This is just the tip of the iceberg for JioFiber
You, our
services.
customers, are at the heart
As always,
of everything
we will
that
continue
do.
working hard
And
to
all
bring
of
more
this
and
has
more
been
amazing
designed
services
with the sole
to your
purpose
home and
of
take
giving you
JioFiber
a
to the next
delightful
level.
experience.
Thank you very much today.
This is just the
tip of the iceberg for JioFiber services. As always, now let me invite our chairman back to bring more and more amazing services to your home and take JioFiber to the next level. Thank you very much today, and
Thank you, Isha, Akash.
now
and Kiran.
let me invite our chairman back
That was
onto the
phenomenal.
stage.
And what encourages me the most is all of this is done by young Indian startup. Thank you that Jio has invested. Isha, in. Akash, this is the power Kiran of the new India. That was phenomenal. And what encourages me the most is all of this is done, friends, by young now Indian let me turn to the that Jio has invested in it. This is the power. When is Jio of the new India going to be available, and how much will it cost? Today I want to announce, friends, that starting 5th September, now let me turn to the obvious question. On the 3rd anniversary of Jio Fiber going to be available, launching Jio Fiber will it cost? Services on a commercial basis across. Today I want to announce that starting 5th September, on the 3rd anniversary of Jio's Let me now give you a preview. We are launching the Jio Fiber services on a commercial basis across are based on 4 strong and powerful principles. First, Jio Fiber will launch. Let me now give you a preview simple of the Jio Fiber to understand tariff plans. Jio Fiber tariffs performance are based on the average strong fixed line download speed in the US. Jio which Fiber is the most developed economy with a lineup is around simple 90 megabits easy to understand tariff plans. And in India on performance, even the average the most basic fixed line Jio Fiber plans in the US start with which is the most developed economy at the lowest end is around 90 megabits per second. And in India, we will have plans to go all the basic way to 1 Gbps Jio Fiber or 1000 Mbps. Will start with 100 Mbps. Will have quality of the lowest end that is no less than anybody in the world. And we will have plans to go all the way. As I said, 1 Gbps will disproportionate 1000 Mbps. So India will have quality of broadband fixed line data that is no less than anybody and on price. We are pricing our plan at less. As I said, this will disproportionate the global rates to make it accessible, improve the quality for all of fixed line data. All Indian Jio Fiber plans will be priced between 700 rupees our plans at less than 10,000 rupees a month. The global rates, everybody make it accessible, every need for all Indian homes. Jio Fiber plan will be priced between 700 rupees. Customers 10,000 rupees a month for only one service. Every budget, either voice and every need and every segment. With this, I am pleased to announce that voice calls from home to any Indian customers should mobile or fixed for only one absolutely service. Free, either voice or data. And not data. With this, I am pleased to announce on voice line from international home, voice calling, any Indian operator, we are today mobile or fixed, ending the era will be absolutely of free high international calling rates on landline by announcing the lowest fixed line rates for on international line calling, international voice calling. First, we are today the default tariffs ending the era on your Jio of high international calling rates to on landlines of the by announcing industry the lowest fixed line rates. Second, for international we are calling, announcing through 2 initiatives unlimited first international the default tariffs at on your Jio home 500 per will month, be 1/5 to the US and Canada of the existing industry tariffs. Second, thereby making we are announcing for families unlimited international calling back at only we are substantially simplifying the purchase and the US and Canada. Today, many of us pay for, thereby making it easy for multiple subscriptions to multiple applications. Just we are substantially simplifying the purchase and consumption of content. This is both expensive and many of us pay for today and keep announcing of multiple subscriptions with multiple applications with subscriptions just to most leading our favorite movies, OTT and TV shows. This is both expensive and convenient. Today, I am announcing also for the first time in India will come bundled. We are introducing subscriptions to most concept of watching new OTT applications. Premium Jio Fiber customers will be able to watch movies in their living room. Also for the first time in India, these movies we are introducing a disruptive concept of watching new movies. Premium Jio Fiber customers will be able to watch movies in their living room the same way these movies are released in theaters. We call this Jio First Day, First Show. We plan to launch this service in the middle of 2024. We are launching a special mobility service for our Jio Fiber users for show. Jio Postpaid. We plan to launch this service to deliver in the middle a platinum grade service and product experience. Fourth, some of we are launching a special mobility service for our Jio Fiber users. It will be India's first postpaid priority SIM setup to deliver an MNP platinum grade service where your connection experience will be moved to Jio. Some of the unique without changing your number service by our service personnel. It will be India's first priority SIM and voice connectivity MNP service across all your devices, where your connection at home will be moved to Jio without changing your unprecedented family plan. Our service personnel one data plan your home for better control. Second, all GB seamless data sharing and voice all members of your family across all your devices, both international roaming and outside at a fraction of a cost with unprecedented family plans. Fifth, one data plan phone for better control, preferential all GBs and sharing all your member solutions on the screen of your international phone, available at a fraction of a cost 24/7 with superior service experience. The complete details of our tariffs phone will be available at preferential from 5th September 2019. All your home solutions and MyJio at the screen of your phone available, but as usual 24/7. One more thing. The complete details, the experience of Jio Fiber available and Jio September 2019 really comes on Jio.com when combined My Jio app with an LED television. But as usual, there is so Jio Fiber customers who opt the experience annual Jio Fiber, which we call Jio Set-Top Jio Forever really comes to life. Will get when combined HD with a 4K and LED television and a 4K Jio Fiber set-top box who absolutely for our annual plan, which we call Jio Forever Plan, will get an HD, a 4K, LED television and a 4K. We are calling this the Jio Fiber Welcome Offer. I invite all of you to make the most of the Jio Welcome Offer and sign up for Jio Fiber as soon as it is we are calling this in your the Jio Fiber Welcome Offer. Let me now move to the second pillar to make the most Jio Digital of the Jio Welcome Offer and sign digital up platforms for Jio Fiber solutions. As soon as today is available, Jio is already a software company. Let me now move as over 6,000 software of Jio Digital Life, and we are continuing to attract digital platforms technology and solutions from across India today and the world. Jio is also investing in a growing ecosystem, has over 6,000 software engineers. As on date, we are continuing to attract in 14 technology talent that embody across India, the Jio DNA and the world, and developed Jio is also investing in their growing ecosystem of technology, a total of 1,500 as on talented engineers. We have invested this in 14 another way we have that embodied the GeoD on the back of this talent. We are now investing in their respective fields, advanced technologies, a total in our own country, 1,500 talented engineers ahead of the rest of the world. This is yet another way. Let me describe our plans for a few. On the back of this talent, first, we are now investing in scaling up advanced using blockchain in our own country, deliver even unprecedented security of the rest of the world. Trust, automation, let me describe our plan efficiency for a few almost any type of transaction. Blockchain technology is a vital capability for using blockchain, especially for modernizing deliver our supply chain, unprecedented for agriculture produce and other goods, automation, which form the lifeblood of our almost any type and of using blockchain. We also have this a vital capability for invent, especially for modernizing for data our supply chains, where agriculture produce and other goods, customer which form the lifeblood and of control our economy. By the Indian and using blockchain, and not by corporate. We also have the opportunity global to invent a brand new model is wealth for data price. Indian wealth, where Indian data in India, especially customer over the next 12 months, is owned and will install by the Indian people. One of the largest blockchain networks in the world, global corporation, with tens of thousands of nodes is wealth, operational, and Indian wealth must remain in India. Second, over the next 12 months, Jio will install across India one of the largest blockchain networks and mixed reality content with tens of thousands of nodes. As you saw in the demo on day one, the next frontier of content is immersive. This creates exciting new possibilities, edge computing and virtual and mixed reality content. And most importantly, as you saw in the demo, delivering the next immersive of content to hundreds of millions of users. This creates requires a well-integrated solution for entertainment, spanning connectivity, data storage, and real-time importantly, for and we need to deploy deliver solutions, immersive content of the net to hundreds of millions of users. Closer requires a well-integrated solution. Today, spanning connectivity, Jio is setting up data storage, pan-India edge computing and content and distribution we need to deploy network. Such solutions starting at the edge of thousands of nodes. Or in other words, this means closer that your favorite content our users and applications today will be. Jio is setting up so even India edge computing and content distribution network response time again and India with 1,600 cities will be amongst the first in the world will for Indian residences so even experience faster downloads, mixed reality and faster and augmented reality and virtual reality and its 1,600 cities will be amongst the first in the world for Indian residents and finally experience cloud infrastructure across and India. Augmented reality to leapfrog the world reality. It is a national imperative to develop a nationwide cloud computing infrastructure that is both cutting edge and finally cloud infrastructure. There are just a handful of companies in the world to leapfrog who can be considered. It is a national imperative of cloud tech develops a nationwide. I want to talk cloud computing about in one such company that is both Microsoft, cutting edge and affordable. Today, Microsoft's cloud platform, a handful Azure, of companies in the world is who can be considered one of the world's at the cutting edge of cloud technology. And today, I'm privileged to announce about one such company that Jio and Microsoft have entered Microsoft's globally platform long-term alliance is to accelerate one of the world's the digital transformation of our country. And today, I'm privileged to announce that Jio and Microsoft have entered into a globally unique as a part of this alliance while Jio sets up a digital transformation world-class data centers across India. Microsoft will bring its Azure cloud platform into Jio's data centers. When we put these two pieces as a part together, of this alliance, we now have the capability up a network to develop large world-class data centers across India, including Microsoft will bring its and natural language understanding into Jio's all major Indian languages. When we put these two pieces together, all Indian now have the capability, the capacity to develop, to accelerate their digital transformations and become globally speech recognition and natural language understanding important occasion all major I want to welcome in our midst all very Indian businesses now have the capacity about our partnership to accelerate my digital transformation and the CEO and become globally competitive. India's on this very important occasion.
Thank you very much, Mukesh. It's such an incredible time to embark upon this partnership together. Today, digital technology is transforming every place, every industry, everything. This rapid change has been driven by massive technology shifts across the intelligent cloud to embark upon this partnership together. Computing is becoming ubiquitous and transforming AI is being infused in every everything. And the interaction model itself is being driven by massive technology shifts across the intelligent cloud rather than device edge. These advances are shaping the next phase of innovation, AI creating new opportunities for people and organizations everywhere, and the interaction model itself with computers Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet. These advances are shaping the next phase of innovation, is creating new opportunities for people and organizations everywhere. Our ambition is to help millions of organizations across India thrive and grow empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve our long-term partnership combines the power of partnerships like the one we are announcing today with Geo. With Geo's connectivity and digital millions of organizations which are amongst the most thrive and grow in this era in the world of rapid technological Together, we'll offer a comprehensive technology solution combines from the power of storage to Azure AI and Office 365 for small and medium-sized businesses and digital solutions, which are amongst the most used partner to launch new cloud data centers in Together, we'll offer a comprehensive technology solution from compute to storage to connectivity and productivity for small and medium-sized businesses jointly offer Office 365. So more organizations can empower their employees new cloud data centers in India, ensuring more Geo and Microsoft customers can access the tools Azure and platforms they need to more devices, their own creating new breakthrough intelligent experiences will jointly offer Office 365 major Indian languages. So more organizations can empower their employees. We don't celebrate technology for technology's sake, and Geo and Microsoft will bring Azure Cognitive Services to more devices, creating new breakthrough intelligent experiences accessible and affordable so that they can reach as many people at Microsoft. We don't celebrate technology for technology. I'm excited to see how customers will be able to achieve more because of this partnership and our ambition. And I'm excited about our collective solutions broadly accessible. Thank you all so very much, so that they can reach as many people and organizations in India as possible. I'm excited to see how customers will be able to achieve more because of this partnership, and I'm excited about our collective opportunity ahead. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Satya. With Microsoft and Geo, Indian businesses can count on a partnership that will work shoulder to shoulder with them in their journey towards becoming digital enterprises of the future. Anant Maheshwari, President of Microsoft India, is here with us today. So Anant, let us make this happen for India. Friends, to further our connectivity vision of empowering digital enterprises of the future, today I want to make two special announcements for startups and small and medium businesses. First, Geo is a startup built in India, for India, by Indians. And we have a very special place in our hearts for startups. You may know that 80% of the cost of running a startup goes towards cloud and connectivity infrastructure. I want to announce today that Geo is ready to take away this cost by making the connectivity and cloud infrastructure absolutely free for budding startups. I urge all startups to register for their custom designed package on geo.com And this service will be available from 1st January 2020 is our intention. Jio will also invest and financially support those startups that have the potential to address India's big needs in agriculture, healthcare, education, and skill development, which will boost the creation of new livelihoods. Second, micro, small, and medium businesses are the bedrock of Indian economy. To run their businesses on a bundle of connectivity, productivity, and automation tools costs a micro and a small enterprise between rupees 15 and 20,000 rupees a month currently. For a similar service, customers abroad pay over $1,000 per month. Today, we are taking the bold step of giving these applications along with our connectivity to small businesses for 1/10 the cost, that is starting at only rupees 1,500 per month. Now all small businesses will have access to unlimited enterprise-grade voice and data services, video conferencing, security solutions, marketing and sales solutions, and all the Microsoft productivity tools. That will help them run their businesses efficiently and at par with larger enterprises. The medium and larger businesses spend even higher, between 3 and 5 lakhs per month, for which we have custom design plans with similar value benefits. With this step, I am certain that the 2 to 5 million micro, small, and medium enterprises will propel towards prosperity and march towards creating a new digital India. Friends, we are at what I call the end of the beginning of the Jio story. We have built a robust connectivity business, our first pillar, with multiple growth engines that provide significant upsides. And our second pillar, digital platform, is Jio's contribution to transform India into an artificial intelligence first economy across all sectors and all walks of life. It is my passion and conviction that the new India will lead and not follow the advanced nations of the world in adopting, even creating disruptive technologies that will decide the winners and the losers of the fourth industrial revolution. Dear shareholders, let me now talk about our next consumer business, our retail business. I'm proud to say that Reliance Retail has well and truly brought the retail revolution to India. We are able to deliver the highest value to our customers because we have the widest geographical footprint, nationwide supply chain, technology expertise, design and product development, and the largest assortment of goods and services. Reliance Retail provides us with a hyper-growth platform as the Indian consumer demands products and services which are at par with the best in the world. It is the best proxy for the consumption story of India. We achieved a significant milestone with our turnover crossing rupees 130,000 crores in the last year. We have achieved this milestone faster than any other retail company in the world. Our EBITDA margins are amongst the best globally. The retail business has grown phenomenally, registering a 7-fold increase in revenue and a 14-fold increase in profit in the last 6 years. Our relentless focus on operating discipline has resulted in a 3-fold rise in per-store productivity in the last 5 years. We serve more than 1 lakh customers every hour, a feat no Indian retailer has been able to achieve. Last year, we delighted over 15 crore unique customers. We registered over 500 million footfalls, becoming India's preferred shopping destination. We have expanded our footprint at the rate of 8 stores per day, opening a total of 3,000 new stores this last year, higher than any other retailer globally. Our spread of stores covers all corners of our country, with presence in nearly 7,000 towns and cities. Over 2/3 of our 10,415 stores are in Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 towns. These towns are connected with modern supply chain capable of delivering products from distribution centers spread across the country. The unique customer insights can be leveraged to grow this into a much bigger business in the next 5 years. Dear shareholders, here are a few signposts of our spectacular achievements in retail. Reliance Digital is the undisputed leader in India in consumer electronics retailing. We sell more phones, laptops, refrigerators, TVs, and ACs than any other retailer in the country. Last year, we sold a TV every 24 seconds, and we sold a phone every 2 seconds. In grocery, we are India's largest modern trade retailer. Reliance Retail sells nearly half of the fresh fruits and vegetables sold by the entire modern retail ecosystem in India. We sold more than 6.4 lakh tons of groceries during the year. In the fashion category, Reliance Trends is the undisputed leader. Reliance Trends sold over 4 lakh garments every day last year. With the acquisition of Hamleys, Reliance Retail has transformed into a global retailer with presence in 18 countries. We are proud to own a global leader in the children's premium toys category that we can take to other parts of the world, and we will be the first Indian company to do so. And we continue to be the preferred partner for several international marquee brands in India. Today, we are the only Indian retailer to be ranked in the global 100 top retailers. Over the next 5 years, our aim is to be amongst the world's top 20 retailers. Dear shareholders, now I want to update you on Reliance's New Commerce initiative that I spoke about last year. New Commerce is a massive new business opportunity of the size of $700 billion US. However, for Reliance, it is the greatest opportunity to promote inclusive growth and shared wealth at the bottom of India's commerce and retail pyramid. The main purpose of New Commerce is to completely transform the unorganized retail market, which accounts for 90% of India's retail industry. The 3 crore merchants and kirana shop owners who generate direct and indirect livelihoods for over 20 crore people form the backbone of India's commerce ecosystem. These highly energetic and self-motivated entrepreneurs have suffered in recent years because of their inability to invest in technology and infrastructure. In the true Reliance ethos, we are working towards enriching and empowering them with our end-to-end digital and physical distribution stack. For this, we are deploying blockchain, IoT, AI, and other new technologies on a pan-India basis. This tech-enabled partnership will link producers, traders, small merchants, consumer brands, and consumers. By removing inefficiencies and value destruction in today's market ecosystem, New Commerce will transfer significant new value to consumers producers, and merchants. Our merchant point of sale solution, the Geo Prime Partner POS, is integral to our plan to create an ecosystem around small merchants. This user-friendly digital platform is designed for inventory management, customer relationship management, financial services, and a host of other services. This will modernize even the smallest neighborhood kirana shop to become a future-ready digitized store. During the last year, we have made significant progress in developing and testing our merchant technology platforms. Our beta trials with thousands of merchants across multiple locations in our country established the premise of new commerce with significant increase in sales and improvements in margins of the participating merchants. We are now getting ready to roll out the platform at a larger scale. Reliance's new commerce platform thus represents the digital symbiosis of big and small enterprise. I believe that small must not only survive, but also thrive in this new India. Let me now turn to our media and entertainment business. We have created one of India's largest broadcast portfolios and digital media offerings across platforms. Our 72 television channels reach 800 million Indians, representing more than 95% of the TV viewing universe. Our News 18 branded TV news platform is the largest by regional footprint, ratings, or revenue. Our entertainment portfolio, led by Colors, has grown in stature with its mass and niche offerings. Network 18 is among the top digital media players in the country, with 1 in 4 Indians on our websites or apps across Money Control, First Post, Woot, News18.com, and many others. Dear shareholders, Reliance Foundation's aim is to help change lives and empower India by providing the largest platform for developmental initiatives. As the foundation enters its 10th year, I am humbled that we have touched the lives of more than 29 million people across the country. I would like to warmly congratulate Neeta for her leadership in building India's largest philanthropic organization. Through our rural transformation programs, we have improved the livelihoods of over 8 million people across 19,000 villages. Our efforts in rural India support key national priorities like ensuring water security and doubling farmers' income using technology innovations. Last year, our foundation provided relief and rehabilitation to people impacted by natural calamities in Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Orissa. As we speak, our teams are involved in relief and rehabilitation efforts in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Kerala in the ongoing floods. As a mark of respect to the Pulwama martyrs, we have assumed full responsibility for the education of their children and the livelihood of their families. Responding to our Honorable Prime Minister's appeal, we stand committed to support the people of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh in all their developmental needs. And Reliance will create a special task force, and you will see a lot of announcements on Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh and our developmental initiatives in the coming months. Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital continues to deliver excellent results in patient care in our own city, Mumbai. Last year, clinical capabilities in newer areas were developed in collaborations with doctors from Sloan Kettering, Gleneagles in Singapore, and Guy's Hospital in London. Innovative new programs in liver transplant and pediatric cardiovascular surgeries were initiated for the first time in Mumbai. Reliance has received a letter of intent from the government to set up Geo Institute under the Institute of Eminence framework. This will be one of the largest research universities, and we are committed to make this a world-class institute for higher education and research. Our education and sports for all initiatives have reached more than 18 million youth across multiple sporting disciplines. I would also like to congratulate Neeta and Akash for their leadership for Mumbai Indians. And their winning the 4th title always brings smiles to all of us in the Reliance family. I believe you are the only team to do so. Our foundation aspires to make a greater impact on the nation through partnerships, digital technology, and direct action. I seek your blessings, dear shareholders, to make this happen. Let me now summarize the value creation roadmap for your company as we are coming to the end of our largest capital expenditure cycle. Your company has invested rupees 5.4 lakh crores in the last 5 years for A, expanding and strengthening a world-class oil-to-chemicals business which has a unique combination of scale, complexity, and resilience to business cycles. Our oil-to-chemicals business, in partnership with Saudi Aramco, is best placed to pursue growth and value creation while adding substantial value to the feedstock provided by our strategic partner. B, in creating the world's largest converged greenfield legacy-free data network company and digital services company. Geo has grown into the proxy for tech and digital services for India. It has strong operating leverage and is best placed to win in the emerging rupees 5 lakh crore Indian digital opportunity. C, building the largest and fastest growing retail company in India. Reliance Retail has created an unbeatable pole position in the 80 billion organized retail market in India. In addition, Reliance Retail has built the capabilities to address the 700 billion unorganized retail opportunity, which we call new commerce. This is a unique business model we are building in partnership with millions of small merchants and kirana shops so that they can be empowered to serve Indian customers. Together, Reliance Retail and New Commerce will become the proxy to India's consumption story. The India-centric upstream business, in partnership with BP, will bring over 3 TCF of gas resources to production starting next year. This will generate EBITDA in excess of $1 billion a year for over a decade. We also have large and valuable real estate assets and have a strong portfolio of financial investments. Your company has thus built a unique and resolute support. I thank all my colleagues on the board for their unanimous support and immense encouragement. I have special words to acknowledge the collective efforts of the entire Reliance team working tirelessly to create and sustain this world-class enterprise and institution of Reliance. Thank you. Thank you. We'll take a 2-minute break and we will then continue this meeting in a second as we get the stage rearranged.
दौरान वन विभाग के सहायक रमन सिंह, प्रोफेसर आदित्य कुमार सिंह, लाल बचन मांझी, मोहन शाह, शिवदयाल राय, मोतीलाल राय मुख्य रूप से उपस्थित थे। इस मौके पर प्रखंड में जलवायु परिवर्तन के कारण लोग जल संकट से परेशान हैं। सभी आम लोगों की सहभागिता से ही जल संकट से मुक्त होंगे। पर्यावरण को संतुलित बनाए रखने में अपनी सहभागिता का भी परिचय दिया गया। सभी ने अनिवार्य रूप से एक पेड़ एक जिंदगी पौधारोपण अभियान में न्यूनतम एक पौधा लगाने व बड़ा होने तक उसकी देखभाल करने का संकल्प भी लिया गया। वन विभाग मशरक के तत्वाधान में वासुदेव सिंह मेमोरियल बीएड कॉलेज मशरक में एक समारोह आयोजित कर पृथ्वी दिवस के तत्वाधान में वासुदेव सिंह मेमोरियल बीएड कॉलेज मशरक में एक समारोह आयोजित कर पृथ्वी दिवस पखवाड़ा का आयोजन किया गया।
As read. Dear shareholders, in the golden decade of Reliance, I am proud to inform you that it was yet another year of robust and record performance. Last year, Reliance became India's largest and most profitable company, both in the public and the private sectors. We are the only diversified, multi-sector Indian enterprise with three major growth engines in one single corporate entity: our oil to chemicals division, Geo, and retail. All three have done exceedingly well in the past year. We are also incubating new growth engines within Reliance. Skeptics used to say that Reliance cannot succeed in a consumer business. Geo and Reliance Retail have proved them wrong.
आयोजित कर पृथ्वी दिवस पखवाड़ा का आयोजन।
If these two consumer businesses had been separately listed companies, each would be ranked
अध्यक्षता में
among the
आयोजित
top 10 in India in terms of
कार्यक्रम
value.
में रेंजर बी के दास एवं कॉलेज के प्राचार्य प्रशांत सिंह
Geo crossed the 340 million subscriber mark to remain Geo crossed the 340 million subscriber mark to remain the world's fastest growing digital services company. Today, Geo is India's largest telecom enterprise in terms of subscribers, revenues and profits. Geo has truly become the digital gateway of India. Reliance Retail has crossed rupees 130,000 crore turnover to cement its position as India's largest retailer. It is 4 times larger than the second largest retail player, and it is larger than all other major retailers
कॉलेज
put
मशरक
together.
में एक समारोह आयोजित कर पृथ्वी दिवस पखवाड़ा का आयोजन किया गया। फॉरेस्टर लव कुमार सिंह के अध्यक्षता में आयोजित कार्यक्रम में रेंजर बी के दास एवं कॉलेज के प्राचार्य प्रशांत सिंह, प्रोफेसर जगलाल सिंह ने फलदार व छायादार पौधे लगा शुभारंभ किया। फॉरेस्टर लव कुमार राय ने कहा कि पेड़
would be 50% of our overall EBITDA. The third growth engine is our oils to chemicals business. Let me now highlight Reliance's record contribution to the Indian economy in the last year. We continue to be India's largest exporter at rupees 2,24,391 crores, and with exports to over 107 countries, accounting for 9.8% of India's total merchandise export. We continue to be the highest payer of customs and excise duty in the private sector at rupees 26,379 crores last year. We also continue to be the highest payer of GST amongst all public and private sector companies at rupees 67,320 crores last year. We were also the highest payer of income tax in the private sector at 12,191 crores. Dear shareholders, the coming year will mark the beginning of the most ambitious value creation strategy in the history of Reliance and in the history of India. At the heart of our new value creation strategy is our innovative philosophy of transforming relationships into partnerships. Partnerships with leading global and Indian companies. Partnerships with millions of local businesses, SMEs, and micro enterprises across India. Partnerships with new tech-enabled businesses, platforms, and social enterprises. All these partnerships will form a new business coalition capable of creating exponential value for our 5 stakeholders: the Indian economy, the Indian people, our customers, employees, and shareowners. Dear shareholders, the future of India and also the future of Reliance has never looked brighter to me than now. As India is getting transformed into a new India, Reliance will transform itself into a new Reliance. Our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, has set the goal of making India a $5 trillion economy by 2024. I fully endorse this ambitious goal. Indeed, I can clearly see India becoming a $10 trillion economy by 2030 with every Indian as a beneficiary. This is achievable.
तत्वाधान में वासुदेव सिंह मेमोरियल बीएड कॉलेज मशरक में एक समारोह आयोजित कर पृथ्वी दिवस पखवाड़ा का आयोजन किया गया। फॉरेस्टर लव कुमार सिंह के अध्यक्षता में आयोजित कार्यक्रम में रेंजर बी के दास एवं कॉलेज के प्राचार्य प्रशांत सिंह, प्रोफेसर जगलाल सिंह ने फलदार व छायादार पौधे लगा शुभारंभ किया। फॉरेस्टर लव कुमार राय ने कहा कि पेड़ पौधे जीवन का आधार है, पौधे हों तो जिंदगी है। विभिन्न प्रकार की समस्याओं से
स्ट्रक्चरल रिफॉर्म्स, इंडिया हैज पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी, द गवर्नमेंट इज लेइंग द फाउंडेशन ऑफ न्यू इंस्टीट्यूशंस फॉर बिजनेस प्रमोशन एंड रेगुलेशन. New long-term measures are being taken to improve ease of living for all citizens and reduce income inequity.
से छुटकारा दिलाने के लिए हम सब पौधारोपण नहीं किया तो धरती से ऑक्सीजन जल सब खत्म हो जाएगा। पौधारोपण कार्यक्रम के दौरान वन विभाग के सहायक कारण लोग जल संकट से परेशान हैं। सभी आम लोगों की सहभागिता से ही जल संकट से मुक्त होंगे। पर्यावरण को संतुलित बनाए रखने में अपनी सहभागिता का भी परिचय दिया गया। सभी ने अनिवार्य रूप से एक पेड़ एक जिंदगी पौधारोपण अभियान में न्यूनतम एक पौधा लगाने व बड़ा होने तक उसकी देखभाल करने का संकल्प भी लिया गया।
Reliance has the most complex and integrated oil to chemicals business globally. Our oil to chemicals business has the ability to convert oil into high value chemicals and performance materials that will significantly improve the quality of life of Indians. As the world moves towards renewable energy sources and electrical vehicles, Reliance has positioned itself far ahead of the curve to create new value. Our oil to chemicals business achieved a revenue of rupees 5.7 lakh crores, exports of 2.2 lakh crores, and EBITDA of 52,041 crores. Reliance and BP signed a joint venture agreement in petroleum retailing business. In this initiative, BP is acquiring 49% stake in our petro retail business. Reliance will get 7,000 crores from BP for this transaction. My dear shareholders, I am now delighted to make an announcement about the biggest foreign investment in the history of Reliance. It is also amongst the largest foreign investments ever in India. Saudi Aramco and Reliance have agreed to form a long-term partnership in our oil to chemicals division. In terms of the understanding between the parties, Saudi Aramco will invest in Reliance for a 20% stake in our oil to chemicals division at an enterprise value of $75 billion or over 5.3 lakh crores. This investment by Saudi Aramco is subject to due diligence, definitive agreements, regulatory and other customary approvals. This partnership will cover all of Reliance's refining and petrochemical assets, including its 51% stake in the petroleum retail JV. Saudi Aramco will also supply 500,000 barrels a day of crude oil on a long-term basis to RIL's Jamnagar refinery. This signifies perfect synergy between the world's largest oil producer and the world's largest integrated refinery and petrochemicals complex. Since its inception, our Jamnagar refinery has been processing Saudi oil every single day for 20 years. Now we have transformed our long-standing relationship of 2 decades based on mutual trust into a partnership with tremendous growth potential. I feel privileged to welcome Saudi Aramco, which is the largest business enterprise in the world, to India. I am grateful to our visionary leaders, our own Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, who have laid the foundation for strategic cooperation between India and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Dear shareholders, I am happy that our natural gas business will soon regain its place of pride in Reliance's value creation strategy. With Reliance de-emphasizing its shale gas business in the US, we are currently focused only on India. In our coal-based methane blocks, we are focusing on augmenting production. The joint venture with BP will play a major role as a producer of natural gas. With world-class deep water infrastructure in the east coast of India, our JV is uniquely positioned to monetize over 3 trillion cubic feet of discovered gas resources in the KGD6 block. Our JV has committed an investment of rupees 35,000 crores in the 3 deep water fields in this block. The project to develop these gas fields are amongst the most complex being executed anywhere in the world. This will commence production from the first half of 2020 with an expected peak production of 1 billion cubic feet per day, which is equivalent to nearly 30% of India's current indigenous gas production. The JV will emerge as a major contributor to India's energy security. Dear friends, now I turn to the youngest member of the Reliance family, Jio. India is today a $2.5 trillion economy. Statistics from large economies show that nearly 3 to 5% of their GDP is spent on digital services. Even at 3%, this translates to a potential Indian digital services spend of nearly 5 lakh crores annually. And I believe that Jio is ideally placed to earn a significant proportion of this technology-driven value addition to our economy. Friends, Jio was founded with the vision to bring digital life to every Indian. And this vision was built on 2 pillars. The first was digital connectivity, where Jio would connect everyone, every place, and everything with the highest quality and affordability. And the second was to build digital platforms and solutions built to suit the unique requirements of India and Indians, spanning all walks of life, like entertainment, e-commerce, financial services, education, healthcare, agriculture, e-governance, and everything beyond. Let me begin with digital connectivity. On 5th September this year, Jio turns 3 years old. And what an incredible 3 years it has been. In the sacred Upanishads, we have the famous mantra, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, which means lead us from darkness to light. In a manner of speaking, before Jio, India was data dark. And now, Jio has made India data shining bright. Friends, today, Jio's customer base has crossed 340 million users. And still, we are signing up more than 10 million new customers every month. The potential for growth is immense, and 500 million customers is now, I believe, well within our reach. On behalf of the entire Jio family, thank you, India, for the enormous trust that you have placed in us. Thank you, India, again, from the bottom of my heart. Because of you, India, because of you, Jio has not only become the largest operator in India, but also the second largest operator in the world in a single country. Dear shareholders, your company has invested nearly 3.5 lakh crores towards creating a state-of-the-art digital infrastructure across India with largest optical fiber footprint, and recently we have divested about 1.25 lakh crores of hard infrastructure into separate infrastructure investment trusts or InvITs to better monetize and unlock value from these assets. Through these investments, we have created world-class, legacy-free, future-proof assets, all of which are fixed, mobile, converged. The core and the aggregation layers of our converged network are already 5G ready today. And because of our early adoption of ongoing enhancements to LTE technology, our wireless network is already 4G+, and we can upgrade this to 5G at minimum incremental cost. Thanks to Jio's converged network architecture, we can offer even faster fixed broadband to homes and business establishments today. Friends, unlike other industry players, your company has had the foresight to pre-invest in network assets. For this reason, I can report to you today that the investment cycle of Jio is now complete. Only marginal investments in access are now required to grow capacity to meet the growing demand. This gives us tremendous operating leverage and superior returns on our investment for years to come. Friends, while most of our investments are complete, we have so far fired up just one of the engines of revenue generation for Jio, namely mobile broadband. Even with one engine, Jio has been profitable from its first quarter of commercial operations. And now we are ready to kickstart 4 more engines of connectivity revenue for Jio. And they are, first, Internet of Things, or IoT, for all over India. Second, home broadband services. Third, enterprise broadband services. And fourth, broadband for small and medium businesses. And I'm glad to report that the revenues from each of these engines will kick in within this financial year itself. Let me now describe these new growth engines. First, Internet of Things. Jio has developed an innovative service on its pan-India 4G network called Narrowband Internet of Things, or NB-IoT. Using NB-IoT, data from billions of smart sensors, whether residential, industrial, or public, can be collected from across India with the highest reliability and lowest cost. To take just one example, there are over 300 million electricity meters which need to be connected digitally for real-time monitoring and for giving consumers full visibility and control of cost and quality. And going forward, each home and business premise will have dozens of connected devices. Within another 2 years, it is estimated that there will be more than 2 billion connected IoT devices in our country. Jio aims to connect at least 1 billion of these on Jio's IoT platform, and this translates into a 20,000 crore per year revenue opportunity for Jio. Jio's IoT platform will be commercially available starting 1st January 2020. Now the second engine, home broadband. Last year, I had shared with you Jio's plan for optical fiber fixed line broadband service called Jio Fiber. Starting August 15th of last year, we invited registrations of interest from across India so that we could prioritize Jio Fiber rollout into localities with the highest interest. The response was simply overwhelming. We received over 15 million registrations from nearly 1,600 towns. And based on these registrations, we have drawn up a plan to reach 20 million residences and 15 million business establishments in these 1,600 towns. Over the past year, we have built significant momentum in our Jio Fiber rollout, and we are confident that we will complete our network rollout within the next 12 months. During the last year, we also installed Jio Fiber on a trial basis in nearly 500,000 homes, that is 5 lakh homes, to fine-tune our services and based on actual customer feedback, improve our services. And we have found that these trial homes, on an average, are consuming more than 100 GBs per month. And this usage is increasing with each passing day. Friends, with Jio Fiber, you get lightning-fast broadband speeds of up to 1 Gbps. You get a landline phone connection at no additional cost. You get a digital set-top box that opens up unparalleled digital experiences within your home. Ultra-high-definition entertainment, virtual reality content, multi-party video conferencing, voice-enabled virtual assistants, interactive gaming, home security, and many other smart home solutions. The digital possibilities are endless. And then there is television, which is still at the heart of the Indian home. Television service in India is a classic small business success story where local cable operators, or LCOs, played a pioneering role. In recent years, competition from DTH operators have threatened the viability of nearly 1 lakh LCOs who still operate across India. As firm supporters of local and small businesses, Jio wanted to ensure that these LCOs continue to serve their communities. Earlier this year, RIL acquired controlling stakes in 3 leading cable MSOs, Hathway, DEN, and GTPL, who have direct relationship with over 30,000 LCOs. Over the past months, we have worked with our MSOs to upgrade their infrastructure to world-class standards. After these upgrades, our LCO partners will now be able to offer the largest bouquet of high-definition channels to customers with better features, reliability, and customer experience, better even than DTH. But now we have gone one step further. We have designed a Jio set-top box to accept the broadcast cable TV signals from our LCO partners, so that from now, every Jio fiber home, our LCO partners will have access and will continue to have a steady stream of revenue for their broadcast TV business. We look forward to extending this partnership to all the local cable operators across the country. Next, for small and medium businesses, Jio Fiber enables a powerful combination of fixed line connectivity and cloud applications, leapfrogging them from no technology to having a complete lineup of cutting-edge plug-and-play technology-enabled tools. This will make them productive from day one and empower them to succeed in the marketplace, even against much larger enterprises. I believe that in their success lies the recipe for sustainable growth and large-scale employment for the Indian economy. And finally, large enterprises. In the past, enterprises had no choice but to make large expenditures of time, money, and effort to keep pace with technology. Today, cloud-based solutions provide out-of-the-box capabilities which are easier, faster, and cheaper to adopt. Jio Fiber and Jio's cloud solutions level the playing field for Indian enterprises, enabling them to accelerate their digital transformation and compete globally using the very same technologies that are used by global majors. Friends, I now want to invite Isha, Akash, and Kiran on the stage to demonstrate some of the game-changing features of Jio Fiber.
Good afternoon to our Reliance family. We look forward to today to showcase our new digital services that will enable a digital society and continue taking India to the forefront of the digital age.
The ability to communicate and the ability to absorb information form the foundation of our evolution. Our means for this has evolved many-fold just in the last century. From letter writing and physically searching for centuries-old information, today we have come a long way. What we're about to demo today is the future of communication and information.
Today, with Jio Fiber services, we'll show you that the future is truly here.
Last year, we promised you ultra-high internet speeds on Jio Fiber. Today, our speeds start at 100 Mbps and go all the way up to 1 Gbps.
And as we speak, more than 5 lakh homes are testing Jio Fiber internet and voice services, making it the largest beta program in India.
We have connected the Jio Fiber services and the Jio set-top box right here in this hall. Can we please have the TV on stage?
Can we also mirror the Jio set-top box onto the large screen, please? Thank you.
There we go. Let's try to run a speed test. And the speed test should be starting, and there we go.
Wow.
And it has reached 1 Gbps. Delivered as promised. Today, we will use our time with you to show you some of the services that will truly be unique with speeds like this. Services that will hopefully convince you that the future is indeed here.
During the last AGM, we demonstrated a one-to-one video calling feature on our set-top box. Today, it's one of our most popular features on the Jio network. 10 crore Indians users make video calls every month on Jio.
And we have worked hard to make this feature even better. And today, we want to introduce to you the very first video conferencing solution for Indian homes.
With this, you can make video calls from your TV screen and conduct multi-party video conferences all from your home.
I'm going to connect 4 people at different locations using the Jio set-top box and a USB camera attached to this TV.
Kiran, I'm waiting to see your reaction.
Oh, wow.
Kiran, there's a surprise for you now.
Oh, wow, phenomenal.
Hi, everyone.
Wow, it's a pleasant surprise. Nice to meet all of you. Actually, on screen, I can see my family, my wife Minu, my son Thomas, and my daughter Tara all sitting there. How are you? Well, I hope you're not nervous, Thomas. There are thousands of people sitting here looking at you. So why don't you say hello?
I'm not nervous. Hi, everyone.
That's good, that's good.
Appa, are you nervous?
Okay, I'll talk to you later about that. I can also see my friend who is currently in New Jersey, I think. He's my classmate from school, Subhashish. Hi, how are you, Subhashish? Looks like you are relaxing at home after a great weekend.
Hi, Kiran. Good to see you. Well, you know how it is. A long, exciting weekend. But hey, it looks like you guys are having way more fun out there.
Of course, of course. After all, we work for Jio. And I can also see my old family friend, Patak ji, who is always, I don't know, traveling somewhere or the other all the time. Kahan pe ho, Patak ji?
Arey Kiran bhai, don't ask. It's been a crazy week. Too much of travel. Fortunately, I was able to connect to your TV from the tablet.
Yeah, that's great. I think we have that feature. So nice meeting all of you. I think, as you can see, we are a little bit caught up here. So I'll talk to you all later. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye to you all. Thank you. Bye.
Wasn't that entirely seamless and so efficient?
Yeah. This is a truly unique solution. And this solution is unique because it's device agnostic. Kiran's family was connected at their home using our Jio set-top box. Kiran's classmate from New York joined us from using his laptop, and Kiran's friend was using a mobile phone to join the conference.
This service is interoperable between devices, including the TV at your home. And best of all, you can video conference with anyone, anywhere in the world for absolutely free.
Spending thousands of rupees on video conferencing setups are now history. Plus, now we can do it at the comfort of our homes.
Absolutely. It is the first of its kind home video calling and conferencing solution in India. And this will bring your loved ones even closer to you than ever before.
Let's now talk a little bit about the Jio setup box. This is a box full of magic. It has hundreds of features and services inside it, like video calling and conferencing, voice search, unlimited premium content, and a console-like gaming experience.
With this, we're launching India's first multiplayer online network. This will be at par with the leading gaming platforms globally. To showcase the power of this network, I want to play a game of FIFA versus a friend of mine, Tarun. And he's in Delhi currently, so I'm going to take a little minute to connect with him and start my game of FIFA while Kiran and Isha walk you through the features.
So whilst Akash connects, let us tell you a little bit about the Jio setup box. First, the Jio setup box supports almost all gaming controllers and through a soft controller on your smartphone. Second, the gaming graphics on Jio setup box are at par with the best in the world. And third, it also supports gameplay in 4K.
And not only can you do multiplayer gaming from anywhere in the country, you can also do social gaming, where all your friends can join via video conference and enjoy gaming together virtually. And the biggest highlight is that with Jio Fiber, gamers will get a much desired zero latency gaming experience.
Perfect timing. I'm ready. I've selected Arsenal and Tarun has chosen Manchester United. I not only get to play my favorite game at the AGM, but I also get to showcase to you what it will exactly look like when you play zero latency online gaming anywhere in India and the graphics card that we have enjoyed.
Okay,
I'm going to try and score a goal as soon as I can.
Oh, there you go.
And there we go.
Wow.
It's a goal in the very first minute.
Thank you. I'm going to quit when I'm ahead. Thank you.
That's great.
Of course, we will have all of the top-of-chart games from leading game publishers like Tencent, Gameloft, Microsoft, and many more.
Now, we're excited to show you a truly futuristic feature. You may move the TV back. This device is really one out of the future. Can I request Isha to give an explanation about it?
Augmented reality or AR and virtual reality or VR are truly powerful technologies. And then we have mixed reality or MR, which is a hybrid of AR and VR. Jio Fiber is completely mixed reality capable.
With Tesseract, a leading mixed reality startup that Jio has invested in, we will show you how MR supported by Jio Fiber will transform our lives with 3 specific use cases: shopping, education, and entertainment. Let's wear our MR headsets.
Oh, thank you.
Can we also have one of our headsets mirrored on the screen, please, so the audience can see what we're viewing? Perfect, thank you.
MR has hundreds of use cases, but let's explore shopping first.
To begin with, let's bring onto stage some of the clothes Akash would like to shop for. Perhaps formal wear?
Isha, online shopping always leaves me a bit confused. I never know how it will actually fit or what color will really look like. But today, we have something truly game-changing. A 3D hologram that Jio has developed in our own MR lab. Let me load my hologram to show just one such use case today.
Wow.
I can finally see which shirt color suits me best and which one I know will select. Maybe not this green one, maybe next.
Yeah, I think the red one suits you best. Maybe we should buy that.
Okay, great. I'll just put it into my cart and I'm sure I'll deliver home soon. There we go.
And there we go. The shirt is in the cart.
Now that's what you call an immersive shopping experience, right in the comfort of your home. Let's now move on to a second use case, education.
With Jio MR, we can take learning to a whole new era of interactivity. Everything we study, we will now be able to experience in all 3 dimensions, something we never had when at least I was in school.
The use of MR in education will increase the level of engagement and understanding in students and can be applied to all disciplines.
One of my favorite modules in school was learning about the solar system. Today, I want to show you how we can learn the simple equation of time, speed, and distance in the context of our solar system. Let me bring up our solar system onto our screen. And that's our solar system. The blue dot is the Earth. From this distance, it looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you calculate the time taken for Chandrayaan to travel from Earth to the Moon?
The simplest way to do that would be to use the time-distance equation, where time equals distance between the Earth and the Moon divided by the speed at which Chandrayaan travels. But as we can see using this incredibly powerful visual aid, the distance is not a straight path. The spaceship actually curves around the planet. So calculating this would be slightly more complex. But it becomes so easy to understand when you see it in all 3 dimensions. By the way, seeing it like this really makes you appreciate the immense complexity of actually reaching the moon. So let us give a big round of applause to ISRO's all-women team of Chandrayaan.
Guys, that reminds me, did you know that the amount of fiber laid by Geo can actually circle the Earth 11 times?
That's incredible. And this technology and content is powered by yet another startup that Geo has invested in, Ambani, an AI-powered learning platform. Now, let us move to the third and final MR feature that we're going to showcase tonight. Entertainment in mixed reality.
Now this is my favorite. The larger the size of the screen, the more fun it is to watch your favorite content. So what if we could experience a movie as if we were in a large home theater, simply by wearing our MR headset? To show you what I mean, let me play one of the most popular movies that we have from Geo Cinema.
जहां तक सूरज की रोशनी फैली है, वो सारी रियासत हमारी है। एक बादशाह की हुकूमत।
So Isha, what do you think?
It's great, but what would make it even more captivating is if we could have the experience of a theater-side screen.
Wait a second, Isha, it's possible. After all, we have an MR headset. In our headsets, we can actually watch the same movie as if we are sitting in a large screen theater. Let's try this.
सूरज की तरह चढ़ती और ढलती है। एक दिन हमारी हुकूमत का सूरज भी ढलेगा और सवेरा रोशन होगा तुम्हारी हुकूमत से। याद रखना।
It's like you're sitting in a real cinema hall, isn't it?
Unbelievable. There's so much more to show you, but this brings us to the end of our demos for today. So we can finally take our headsets off.
Now this mixed reality device that you are seeing is called the Geo HoloBoard, and it is made by Tesseract, which is one of the startups that Geo has invested in. It'll be available for purchase in the market very soon and at an extremely affordable price.
We hope you enjoyed the experiences of these demos today. You, our customers, are at the heart of everything that we do. And all of this has been designed with the sole purpose of giving you a delightful experience.
This is just the tip of the iceberg for JioFiber services. As always, we will continue working hard to bring more and more amazing services to your home and take JioFiber to the next level. Thank you very much today. And now let me invite our chairman back onto the stage.
Thank you, Isha, Akash, and Kiran. That was phenomenal. And what encourages me the most is all of this is done by young Indian startups that Jio has invested in it. This is the power of the new India, the young India. Friends, now let me turn to the obvious question. When is JioFiber going to be available and how much will it cost? Today I want to announce that starting 5th September, on the 3rd anniversary of Jio's launch, we are launching JioFiber services on a commercial basis across India. Let me now give you a preview of the JioFiber tariffs. JioFiber tariffs are based on 4 strong and powerful principles. First, JioFiber will launch with a lineup of simple and easy to understand tariff plans. On performance, the averaged fixed line download speed in the US, which is the most developed economy, is around 90 megabits per second. And in India, even the most basic JioFiber plans will start with 100 Mbps at the lowest end. And we will have plans to go all the way to 1 Gbps or 1000 Mbps. So India will have quality of broadband that is no less than anybody in the world. As I said, this will disproportionately improve the quality of fixed line data in India. And on price, we are pricing our plans at less than 1/10 the global rates to make it accessible for all Indian homes. JioFiber plans will be priced between 700 rupees to 10,000 rupees a month to suit every budget and every need and every segment. Second, customers should pay for only one service, either voice or data, and not both. With this, I am pleased to announce that voice calls from home to any Indian operator, mobile or fixed, will be absolutely free forever. On fixed line international voice calling, we are today ending the era of high international calling rates on landlines by announcing the lowest fixed line rates for international calling through 2 initiatives. First, the default tariffs on your Jio home phone will be 1/5 to 1/10 of the existing industry tariffs. Second, we are announcing an unlimited international calling pack at only rupees 500 per month to the US and Canada, thereby making it easy for families to connect. Third, we are substantially simplifying the purchase and consumption of content. Today, many of us pay for and keep track of multiple subscriptions to multiple applications just to watch our favorite movies and TV shows. This is both expensive and cumbersome. Today, I am announcing that Jio Fiber plans will come bundled with subscriptions to most leading premium OTT applications. Also, for the first time in India, we are introducing a disruptive concept of watching new movies. Premium Jio Fiber customers will be able to watch movies in their living rooms the same day these movies are released in theaters. We call this Jio, first day, first show. We plan to launch this service in the middle of 2020. Fourth, we are launching a special mobility service for our Jio Fiber users called Jio Postpaid Plus to deliver a platinum-grade service and product experience. Some of the unique features of this service are: 1, it will be India's first priority SIM setup and MNP service at home, where your connection will be moved to Jio without changing your number by our service personnel visiting your home. Second, seamless data and voice connectivity across all your devices, both at home and outside. Third, unprecedented family plans, one data plan for better control on all GBs and sharing with all members of your family. Fourth, international roaming at a fraction of a cost with superior service experience. Fifth, phone upgrades at preferential rates. And sixth, all your home solutions on the screen of your phone available to you 24/7. The complete details of our tariffs will be available from 5th September 2019 on Jio.com and My Jio application. But as usual, there is one more thing. The experience of Jio Fiber and Jio set-top box really comes to life when combined with an LED television. So Jio Fiber customers who opt for our annual plans, which we call Jio Forever plans, will get an HD or 4K LED television and a 4K set-top box absolutely free. We are calling this the Jio Fiber Welcome Offer. I invite all of you to make the most of the Jio Welcome Offer and sign up for Jio Fiber as soon as it is available in your neighborhoods. Friends, let me now move to the second pillar of Jio Digital Life: digital platforms and solutions. Today, Jio is already a software company. Jio has over 6,000 software engineers, and we are continuing to attract technology talent from across India and the world. Jio is also investing in a growing ecosystem of technology startups. As on date, we have invested in 14 startups that embody the Jio DNA and developed unique capabilities in their respective fields with a total of 1,500 talented engineers. This is yet another way we are building talent. And on the back of this talent, we are now investing in scaling up advanced technologies in our own country, even ahead of the rest of the world. Let me describe our plans for a few of these. First, blockchain technology all over India. Using blockchain, we can deliver unprecedented security, trust, automation, and efficiency to almost any type of transaction. This is a vital capability for India, especially for modernizing our supply chains for agriculture produce and other goods, which form the lifeblood of our economy. And using blockchain, we also have the opportunity to invent a brand new model for data privacy, where Indian data, especially customer data, is owned and controlled by the Indian people and not by corporates, especially global corporations. Data is wealth, and Indian wealth must remain in India. Over the next 12 months, Jio will install across India one of the largest blockchain networks in the world, with tens of thousands of nodes operational on day one. Second, edge computing and virtual and mixed reality content. As you saw in the demo, the next frontier of content is immersive. This creates exciting new possibilities for entertainment, shopping, gaming, and most importantly, for education. Delivering immersive content to hundreds of millions of users requires a well-integrated solution spanning connectivity, data storage, and real-time computing. And we need to deploy such solutions at the edge of the network, or in other words, closer to where our users are. Today, Jio is setting up a pan-India edge computing and content distribution network, again, starting with tens of thousands of nodes. This means that your favorite content and applications will be nearer to you, so even faster downloads and faster response times. And India and its 1,600 cities will be amongst the first in the world for Indian residences to experience mixed reality and augmented reality and virtual reality on Jio Fiber. And finally, cloud infrastructure across India. To leapfrog the world, it is a national imperative to develop a nationwide cloud computing infrastructure that is both cutting edge and affordable. There are just a handful of companies in the world who can be considered at the cutting edge of cloud technologies. I want to talk to you about one such company, Microsoft. Today, Microsoft's cloud platform, Azure, is one of the world's leading cloud platforms. And today, I'm privileged to announce that Jio and Microsoft have entered into a globally unique long-term alliance to accelerate the digital transformation of our country. As a part of this alliance, while Jio sets up a network of large world-class data centers across India, Microsoft will bring its Azure cloud platform into Jio's data centers. When we put these two pieces together, we now have the capability to develop truly India-native solutions, including speech recognition and natural language understanding for all major Indian languages and dialects. All Indian businesses now have the capacity to accelerate their digital transformation and become globally competitive. On this very important occasion, I want to welcome in our midst a very special guest to talk about our partnership, my dear friend and the CEO of Microsoft, India's own Satya Nadella.
Thank you very much, Mukesh. It's such an incredible time to embark upon this partnership together. Today, digital technology is transforming every place, every industry, everything. This rapid change is being driven by massive technology shifts across the intelligent cloud and the intelligent edge. Computing is becoming ubiquitous and distributed. AI is being infused in every experience. And the interaction model itself with computers is increasingly human first rather than device first. These advances are shaping the next phase of innovation, creating new opportunities for people and organizations everywhere, especially in India. At Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Core to this mission is deep partnerships like the one we are announcing today with Jio. Our ambition is to help millions of organizations across India thrive and grow in this era of rapid technological change. Our long-term partnership combines the power of Azure, Azure AI, and Office 365 with Jio's connectivity and digital solutions, which are amongst the most used and fast-growing in the world. Together, we'll offer a comprehensive technology solution from compute to storage to connectivity and productivity for small and medium-sized businesses everywhere in the country. Jio and Microsoft will partner to launch new cloud data centers in India, ensuring more of Jio's customers can access the tools and platforms they need to build their own digital capability. Jio and Microsoft will jointly offer Office 365 so more organizations can empower their employees with a modern workplace. And Jio and Microsoft will bring Azure Cognitive Services to more devices, creating new breakthrough intelligent experiences with the support of major Indian languages. At Microsoft, we don't celebrate technology for technology's sake. We celebrate what others can do with technology. And our ambition is to make all these solutions broadly accessible and affordable so that they can reach as many people and organizations in India as possible. I'm excited to see how customers will be able to achieve more because of this partnership, and I'm excited about our collective opportunity ahead. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Satya. With Microsoft and Jio, Indian businesses can count on a partnership that will work shoulder to shoulder with them in their journey towards becoming digital enterprises of the future. Anant Maheshwari, President of Microsoft India, is here with us today. So Anant, let us make this happen for India. Friends, to further our connectivity vision of empowering digital enterprises of the future, today I want to make two special announcements for startups and small and medium businesses. First, Jio is a startup built in India, for India, by Indians. And we have a very special place in our hearts for startups. You may know that 80% of the cost of running a startup goes towards cloud and connectivity infrastructure. I want to announce today that Jio is ready to take away this cost by making the connectivity and cloud infrastructure absolutely free for budding startups. I urge all startups to register for their custom designed package on jio.com, and this service will be available from 1st January 2020 is our intention. Jio will also invest and financially support those startups that have the potential to address India's big needs in agriculture, healthcare, education, and skill development, which will boost the creation of new livelihoods. Second, micro, small and medium businesses are the bedrock of Indian economy. To run their businesses on a bundle of connectivity, productivity, and automation tools costs a micro and a small enterprise between rupees 15 and 20,000 rupees a month currently. For a similar service, customers abroad pay over $1,000 per month. Today, we are taking the bold step of giving these applications along with our connectivity to small businesses for 1/10 the cost, that is starting at only rupees 1,500 per month. Now all small businesses will have access to unlimited enterprise-grade voice and data services, video conferencing, security solutions, marketing and sales solutions, and all the Microsoft productivity tools. That will help them run their businesses efficiently and at par with larger enterprises. The medium and larger businesses spend even higher, between 3 and 5 lakhs per month, for which we have custom designed plans with similar value benefits. With this step, I am certain that the 2 to 5 million micro, small, and medium enterprises will propel towards prosperity and march towards creating a new digital India. Friends, we are at what I call the end of the beginning of the Jio story. We have built a robust connectivity business, our first pillar, with multiple growth engines that provide significant upsides. And our second pillar, digital platform, is Jio's contribution to transform India into an artificial intelligence-first economy across all sectors and all walks of life. It is my passion and conviction that the new India will lead and not follow the advanced nations of the world in adopting, even creating disruptive technologies that will decide the winners and the losers of the fourth industrial revolution. Dear shareholders, let me now talk about our next consumer business, our retail business. I'm proud to say that Reliance Retail has well and truly brought the retail revolution to India. We are able to deliver the highest value to our customers because we have the widest geographical footprint, nationwide supply chain, technology expertise, design and product development, and the largest assortment of goods and services. Reliance Retail provides us with a hyper-growth platform as the Indian consumer demands products and services which are at par with the best in the world. It is the best proxy for the consumption story of India. We achieved a significant milestone with our turnover crossing rupees 130,000 crores in the last year. We have achieved this milestone faster than any other retail company in the world. Our EBITDA margins are amongst the best globally. The retail business has grown phenomenally, registering a 7-fold increase in revenue and a 14-fold increase in profit in the last 6 years. Our relentless focus on operating discipline has resulted in a 3-fold rise in per-store productivity in the last 5 years. We serve more than 1 lakh customers every hour, a feat no Indian retailer has been able to achieve. Last year, we delighted over 15 crore unique customers. We registered over 500 million footfalls, becoming India's preferred shopping destination. We have expanded our footprint at the rate of 8 stores per day, opening a total of 3,000 new stores this last year, higher than any other retailer globally. Our spread of stores covers all corners of our country, with presence in nearly 7,000 towns and cities. Over 2/3 of our 10,415 stores are in Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 towns. These towns are connected with modern supply chain capable of delivering products from distribution centers spread across the country. The unique customer insights can be leveraged to grow this into a much bigger business in the next 5 years. Dear shareholders, here are a few signposts of our spectacular achievements in retail. Reliance Digital is the undisputed leader in India in consumer electronics retailing. We sell more phones, laptops, refrigerators, TVs, and ACs than any other retailer in the country. Last year, we sold a TV every 24 seconds, and we sold a phone every 2 seconds. In grocery, we are India's largest modern trade retailer. Reliance Retail sells nearly half of the fresh fruits and vegetables sold by the entire modern retail ecosystem in India. We sold more than 6.4 lakh tons of groceries during the year. In the fashion category, Reliance Trends is the undisputed leader. Reliance Trends sold over 4 lakh garments every day last year. With the acquisition of Hamleys, Reliance Retail has transformed into a global retailer with presence in 18 countries. We are proud to own a global leader in the children's premium toys category that we can take to other parts of the world, and we will be the first Indian company to do so. And we continue to be the preferred partner for several international marquee brands in India. Today, we are the only Indian retailer to be ranked in the global 100 top retailers. Over the next 5 years, our aim is to be amongst the world's top 20 retailers. Dear shareholders, now I want to update you on Reliance's New Commerce initiative that I spoke about last year. New Commerce is a massive new business opportunity of the size of $700 billion US. However, for Reliance, it is the greatest opportunity to promote inclusive growth and shared wealth at the bottom of India's commerce and retail pyramid. The main purpose of New Commerce is to completely transform the unorganized retail market, which accounts for 90% of India's retail industry. The 3 crore merchants and kirana shop owners who generate direct and indirect livelihoods for over 20 crore people form the backbone of India's commerce ecosystem. These highly energetic and self-motivated entrepreneurs have suffered in recent years because of their inability to invest in technology and infrastructure. In the true Reliance ethos, we are working towards enriching and empowering them with our end-to-end digital and physical distribution stack. For this, we are deploying blockchain, IoT, AI, and other new technologies on a pan-India basis. This tech-enabled partnership will link producers, traders, small merchants, consumer brands, and consumers. By removing inefficiencies and value destruction in today's market ecosystem, New Commerce will transfer significant new value to consumers, producers, and merchants. Our merchant point of sale solution, the Geo Prime Partner POS, is integral to our plan to create an ecosystem around small merchants. This user-friendly digital platform is designed for inventory management, customer relationship management, financial services, and a host of other services. This will modernize even the smallest neighborhood kirana shop to become a future-ready digitized store. During the last year, we have made significant progress in developing and testing our merchant technology platforms. Our beta trials with thousands of merchants across multiple locations in our country established the premise of new commerce with significant increase in sales and improvements in margins of the participating merchants. We are now getting ready to roll out the platform at a larger scale. Reliance's new commerce platform thus represents the digital symbiosis of big and small enterprise. I believe that small must not only survive, but also thrive in this new India. Let me now turn to our media and entertainment business. We have created one of India's largest broadcast portfolios and digital media offerings across platforms. Our 72 television channels reach 800 million Indians, representing more than 95% of the TV viewing universe. Our News 18 branded TV news platform is the largest by regional footprint, ratings, or revenue. Our entertainment portfolio, led by Colors, has grown in stature with its mass and niche offerings. Network 18 is among the top digital media players in the country, with 1 in 4 Indians on our websites or apps across Money Control, First Post, Woot, News18.com, and many others. Dear shareholders, Reliance Foundation's aim is to help change lives and empower India by providing the largest platform for developmental initiatives. As the foundation enters its 10th year, I am humbled that we have touched the lives of more than 29 million people across the country. I would like to warmly congratulate Neeta for her leadership I would like to warmly congratulate Neeta for her leadership in building India's largest philanthropic organization. Through our rural transformation programs, we have improved the livelihoods of over 8 million people across 19,000 villages. Our efforts in rural India support key national priorities like ensuring water security and doubling farmers' income using technology innovations. Last year, our foundation provided relief and rehabilitation to people impacted by natural calamities in Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Orissa. As we speak, our teams are involved in relief and rehabilitation efforts in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Kerala in the ongoing floods. As a mark of respect to the Pulwama martyrs, we have assumed full responsibility for the education of their children and the livelihood of their families. Responding to our Honorable Prime Minister's appeal, we stand committed to support the people of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh in all their developmental needs. And Reliance will create a special task force, and you will see a lot of announcements on Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh and our developmental initiatives in the coming months. Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital continues to deliver excellent results in patient care in our own city, Mumbai. Last year, clinical capabilities in newer areas were developed in collaborations with doctors from Sloan Kettering, Gleneagles in Singapore, and Guy's Hospital in London. Innovative new programs in liver transplant and pediatric cardiovascular surgeries were initiated for the first time in Mumbai. Reliance has received a letter of intent from the government to set up Geo Institute under the Institute of Eminence framework. This will be one of the largest research universities, and we are committed to make this a world-class institute for higher education and research. Our education and sports for all initiatives have reached more than 18 million youth across multiple sporting disciplines. I would also like to congratulate Neeta and Akash for their leadership for Mumbai Indians. And their winning the 4th title always brings smiles to all of us in the Reliance family. I believe you are the only team to do so. Our foundation aspires to make a greater impact on the nation through partnerships, digital technology, and direct action. I seek your blessings, dear shareholders, to make this happen. Let me now summarize the value creation roadmap for your company as we are coming to the end of our largest capital expenditure cycle. Your company has invested rupees 5.4 lakh crores in the last 5 years for A, expanding and strengthening a world-class oil-to-chemicals business which has a unique combination of scale, complexity, and resilience to business cycles. Our oil-to-chemicals business, in partnership with Saudi Aramco, is best placed to pursue growth and value creation while adding substantial value to the feedstock provided by our strategic partner. B, in creating the world's largest converged greenfield legacy-free data network company and digital services company. Geo has grown into the proxy for tech and digital services for India. It has strong operating leverage and is best placed to win in the emerging rupees 5 lakh crore Indian digital opportunity. C, building the largest and fastest growing retail company in India. Reliance Retail has created an unbeatable pole position in the 80 billion organized retail market in India. In addition, Reliance Retail has built the capabilities to address the 700 billion unorganized retail opportunity, which we call new commerce. This is a unique business model we are building in partnership with millions of small merchants and kirana shops so that they can be empowered to serve Indian customers. Together, Reliance Retail and New Commerce will become the proxy to India's consumption story. The India-centric upstream business, in partnership with BP, will bring over 3 TCF of gas resources to production starting next year. This will generate EBITDA in excess of $1 billion a year for over a decade. We also have large and valuable real estate assets and have a strong portfolio of financial investments. Your company has thus built a unique portfolio of world-class and extremely valuable assets in the fastest growing economy in the world, India. Each of our best-in-class business is contributing to the transformation of our country while also creating enormous societal value. At the end of our largest capital largest capital expenditure cycle, we continue to be rated AAA for domestic debt and 2 notches above the sovereign rating for our international debt. These are the highest ratings for any industrial company in India. Our consolidated EBITDA last year was rupees 92,656 crores. On the strength of our existing and new great growth engines, I am very confident that we can grow this by 15% annually over the next 5 years. Dear shareholders, last year we transferred our telecom infrastructure assets to 2 separate infrastructure trusts for a consideration of rupees 1.25 lakh crores with the intention of raising this money from large global institutional investors. We have received strong interests and commitments from reputed global investors and are confident that these transactions will be completed by the end of this financial year. Post this, we ended the last year with a net debt of 1,54,478 crores. We have a very clear roadmap to becoming a zero net debt company within the next 18 months, that is by 31st March 2021. Our transactions with Saudi Aramco and BP will create win-win relationships, generating significant strategic value for our partners. We expect to complete these transactions within this financial year. The commitments from these 2 transactions are about 1.1 lakh crores. We have received strong interest from strategic and financial investors in our consumer businesses, Jio and Reliance Retail. We will induct leading global partners in these businesses in the next few quarters and move towards listing of both these companies within the next 5 years. We will also evaluate value unlocking opportunities for our real estate and financial investments. With these initiatives, I have no doubt that your company will have one of the strongest balance sheets, not only in India, but in the world. As we achieve our zero net debt target, I assure you, my dear shareholders, that you will be rewarded abundantly through higher dividends, periodic bonus issues, and other means. At a more accelerated pace than any time in our history. Friends, in conclusion, I also wish to address my dear countrymen because they are the biggest and most important stakeholders of Reliance. My father, Dhirubhai Ambani, created Reliance because his primary motivation was to create wealth and value for India and her people. He was absolutely clear in his vision that promoters, shareholders, and employees would get their share of value only after our businesses have created maximum societal value. This is also my vision, and it will remain the unchanging vision of Reliance. The trust and confidence of the people of India in Reliance is growing stronger with each passing year because we have remained faithful to our founder Dhirubhai's vision and core values. This relationship of trust is our most precious asset. A single example is enough to illustrate this truth. In just 3 years, as many as 34 crore Indians have put their trust in Jio because of our uncompromising commitment to propel India to digital leadership. Nothing gives me greater happiness than to see that Reliance is now making a bigger and more positive impact on the lives of more Indians in multiple ways through business and philanthropy. And nothing gives me greater inspiration in my work each single day than my conviction that the new India that our children will grow up in will be happier, healthier, wealthier, prouder, and even more caring than ever before. I would like to thank the central and the state government, our dear shareholders, investors, lenders, suppliers, and customers for their consistent and resolute support. I thank all my colleagues on the board for their unanimous support and immense encouragement. I have special words to acknowledge the collective efforts of the entire Reliance team working tirelessly to create and sustain this world-class enterprise and institution of Reliance. Thank you.
Exceptional story, Pursuits by Skoda, only on Bloomberg Quint.
All right, 26 minutes left to go for market closing, and the Nifty has come off the highs of the day, but still holding on to those gains, so that's not bad. 11,111 is where the index is trading at. 300 points gain for the Nifty Bank. A quick look across Europe to see how the rest of the globe is trading at this point. You've got FTSE, CAC, and DAX trading under, so in the red right now by closer to 0.5% for the DAX and the CAC. Dow futures up next, and then we take a look at how the turnovers are how the turnover is shaping up as well. So Dow futures also giving you early indicators of some negative signs out there. A third of 1% lower. Turnover, almost 8 lakh crores already done on the NSE F&O, and for the NSE cash we're at about 30,000, so could anticipate number closer to 33.5, 34,000, which is normal that we've been seeing over the last few days. But while we're taking a look at the market and internals, also it's interesting to see what has made it to Sharad Dubey's list of Fab 4 stocks this afternoon. Sharad, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devina. The first stock is Indiabulls Housing Finance. The stock was up by more than 10%, snapping its 2-day losing streak after Economic Times reported that the promoter will reduce this stake down to 10% in the merged entity of the Indiabulls Housing Finance and Lakshmi Vilas Bank. Up next, we are having MRF, which is up almost 4.6% after the Q1 earnings came out, which were better than the street had expected. The revenues coming up almost 15% at around 4,470 odd crore rupees, and the net profit coming in at around 273 odd crore rupees. Up next, you are having Deepak Fertilizers, which is up almost 11%, and volumes are trading at almost 3 times its 20-day average. And today, the company is also having its con call post-market hour, so that is something which we will be watching out for. And last, in the power space, we are having Suzlon Energy, which is up by almost 10% after the Bloomberg News reported that the company is having a proposal of $1.2 billion deal to settle the stressed assets. So these 4 stocks are buzzing.
Thanks a lot for that, Sharad. So
Those are a few stocks that you can monitor in the session today. Some other results that have come out, of course, we spoke about MRF being one. Sobha as well as Jamna Auto are two other names that have come out with numbers. And if you can just pull up the stocks for you both. Sobha is reacting because the numbers are better than what the street was working with. I think they've come in at 80 crores, 11 crores more than what the street was working with. Jamna Auto is down about 4% post the numbers. And again, a set of numbers that shouldn't surprise people if they are bad. I don't quite know. I'm just still waiting for the numbers to come out, but, or rather for me to open the sheet. But with the presumption that the numbers haven't looked all that great because they have, and the fact that August will not be a good month because they already clarified that they might be entering into a partial or a full shutdown for all of their plants, and which speaks volumes about how that quarter would be as well. So no surprise that this has happened. I have the numbers with me. Unaudited consolidated financial results show revenues at 420 versus 562 crores for Jamna Auto, and the profit at 20 crores versus 40 crores. The profit has halved on a YOY basis. It's half. And the current quarter will be bad. No surprise that the stock is doing what it is doing. 38 rupees. Won't be surprised if it cracks more. Gurmeet, you look at this space very closely as well, in addition to the consumer durables, the auto ancillaries. What do you think of Jamna Auto? A Delhi-based company, great return ratios, everything is fine. But these troubled times, profit has halved, and we are not in the July, August, September quarter, which will have 1 month of a complete plant shutdown.
Yeah, not looking good, Neeraj. I think the numbers are probably worse than I think the market was expecting, and that's why probably there is a bit of a reaction. Also, Neeraj, we pointed out that players like Jamna, Motherson Sumi, some of the others have been under pressure. So if you have 8-9 months of consecutive fall in volumes in this space, the impact is much more, and vice versa. When things pick up, they have a better operating leverage. So it's best to right now be on a wait and watch mode and see what government does. I think the industry's already made a demand of 18% GST for all components. I think having an integrated slab at 18%. If maybe that plays out, probably you could see a bit of an upside. But as I said, the demand revival doesn't look to be just 2 or 3 months away. I think that will take time. Maybe around festive season, if GST is cut, maybe things start becoming better. Maybe once the transmission of the rates start happening. So it will be a long down process. So that's why I said better to be in content players, or better to be with the lithium ion battery makers like the Amar Rajas of the world, and park yourself there. So if you want to actually look at auto, maybe look at some of the two-wheeler names like Bajaj Auto, to start with. Right now is not a great time to really do this value buying, because the value also needs to be not only from a price perspective but from an intrinsic value perspective.
Yeah, that's true, and we'll probably try and do that as well. But just one question to you, Pritesh. I don't know if Abhijit would be tracking Jamna Auto or no. Okay, Abhijit, let me try first. Do you track Jamna Auto? Can you look it up on the charts?
No, unfortunately, I don't track Jamna Auto, but I track the.
Okay, no, so I'll come back to you for the others. But since I want to bring up this specific stock, Pritesh, can you look up Jamna Auto on the charts? It must be below a lot of long-term averages and supports, but can it slide further?
Nothing to look over here, at least at the charts. We are talking about a counter which has been a strong downtrend. I think that the last peak which we had seen was in April 2018, and there was a time when there was a strong rally in all the auto ancillary pack. But since then the lost stock has come off a long way. And if I go back on the historical structure, there is support being seen around 31. So I think there is still more pain on the downside. We can see 6 to 7 rupees downside from current levels.
37.5, 5.5% down, and don't look at what the price was some months ago. It may have been 100 rupees, but that just doesn't matter. It was, I think the high less than a year ago was, or maybe slightly more than a year, was 100 rupees. From there, it's completely collapsed as Jamna Auto. Maybe a 2-year chart will give you that story. Just look at the kind of fall that has happened into this stock, as also, of course, a lot of other auto ancillaries as well. Okay, Abhijit, maybe you track the more liquid auto names, Eicher, Maruti, both of them up in trade. Any thoughts here? Is there a trade on either of these? Even Hero MotoCorp is 1.5% higher.
Yeah, I tracked Maruti very closely. In fact, it had given a good signal about 400 points lower, near 55, 50, 5600. And the target was about 6100, which it has almost done today. But it still remains a buy on any dip, at least for the month of August, because we have done a seasonality analysis, and auto sector generally does well in the month of August as far as the stock prices are concerned. So any buy is a dip in Maruti with a stop loss below 5500. So right now it is not a buy, but any dip you can be used to buy it. Maybe it can go back towards 6100 from that dip.
Okay, and one of the top losers currently on Nifty is Cipla. Pull up the intraday chart of that stock. Remember, the earnings had come out and Q1 was weak for this one. A lot of downgrades also coming in for Cipla, and as we speak, the stock's sitting with cuts of about 4%. Pritesh, if I could come to you on the charts, 4% lower for Cipla at 482.83. Would you take a bet?
No, I think we should avoid discounter. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we in the kind of setup we are in, we have to be with the stocks which are showing strength, and Cipla does not fit into that bill. In fact, we can see a fall below 480 would mean the stock can go towards 460 as well. In fact, from the pharma perspective, we are talking about, if you look at the ratio chart of Nifty Pharma Index and the Nifty, it is trading around 8 to 9 year lows. So I don't see any turnaround maybe for long-term perspective. I think there could be some more pain for the pharma counters.
Okay, we'll wait and watch. Gurmeet, coming on pharma, Cipla disappointed. In fact, the Nifty Pharma Index is at days low. It's in the red now. Aurobindo surprised the street where numbers were better than what we were expecting, whereas Cipla clearly disappointed. What to do with this space?
See, if you see, Navneet, Cipla also had a good quarter preceding this, and that's where probably the expectations also built up, and then you had a weak quarter. I think if you go by the management commentary, I think they are saying that the trade generics will take some more time to stabilize, and that's the reason we are seeing the price action we are seeing. My still suggestion to most investors is that while pharma index has corrected significantly, including all top names, barring a few, which is Biocon, Aurobindo, and maybe Divi's, I think it's best to play through a fund if you think there is value in this space, because there are too many moving parts, too technical for us to make sense in terms of US FDA issues, in terms of the pricing pressure we are seeing because of Jan Aushadhi, and so if you see from an environment perspective, you will see government having more thrust on making drugs more affordable, and the way Jan Aushadhi outlets are mushrooming, I think there will be pressure. So I'm saying not only does the US generics where we are seeing margins come down for players, I think even in domestic business. So I think, and there are lot of plays in this. So one play which I personally like is Divi's Labs because of the CRAMS play and the relationship it enjoys with the innovator companies and its ability to add value in the life cycle strategies. The best way is to take a fund route that will have generics, it will have domestic pharma names, it will play out the hospital and the wellness theme, it will play out the CRAMS theme and the biologics. So best way to take a pharma fund. There some of the fund houses have some very good pharma funds, which are well diversified. That's a better way to play it rather than start nibbling in individual stocks. But if you were to ask me, one stock I like is Divi's Labs in this space.
All right. While we're talking about the equity markets, which are holding out pretty okay for themselves, interesting to see what's been happening to the 10-year yields, which have shot up in the last few minutes of trade. And in the morning session, the open was somewhere closer to 6.4, I think, in terms of the yields, and now trading at about 6.48 odd levels. So this is the time, these were the yields that we witnessed in the month of August in 2017, from where you saw them surge all the way to cross 8, and then they started to drop from there on. So in the last 2 years, they've not probably hovered around these levels.
But this is quite severe. I mean, if everybody is believing that the world over yields are falling off, and if the Indian inflation is going to be under check, but I mean, I think just talking to Ira about it, maybe it's the market pricing in a lot of borrowing around for the kind of stimulus measures that the markets want, and maybe the bond market's trying to price all of that borrowing into the yields right now. We'll try and get a phoner, if my producer can hear me, we should try and get a bond market phoner, maybe K. Harrier or anybody should be coming in moments from now and talking to us about this. But there's a sharp spike in the bond yields in the session.
I think
right
there's
now.
some Bloomberg flashes also suggesting that as early as next week can anticipate some commentary from the finance minister regarding steps to boost the economy.
Must be that.
Could probably see some bit of an implication of that.
Yeah. Well, let's wait and watch what happens in that. And while we just address that, let's get in Darshan and Yatin, who join in right now, to give us a sense of what dealing room sources are telling them as well. Good afternoon to both of you. Darshan, let's start off with you first.
Yeah, so I think auto across the pack is seeing a little bit of accumulation for the past few days. Hero MotoCorp in particular is something that dealers spoke about. Overall, there is buying, and the MSCI buying, because of the weight increase that happened, will continue over the next few days. So Hero MotoCorp, they are positive on. HUL, after seeing a lot of selling, is seeing buying in today's trade. One large FI fund has been actively accumulating HUL in today's trade, so that's been spoken about. And among the tech space, Tech Mahindra is seeing heavy selling, down 2.5%. So two companies, at least on the tech side, HCL Tech and Tech Mahindra, not finding too much favors with some of the large funds. So there is selling that's happening in these counters. But Yatin has a few more count.
Darshan, Mahindra and Mahindra Finance, that stock is phenomenally doing well. In fact, it's at the highest point in day. Last time when I checked, it was up only 3.5%. So a good last 30-minute kind of a move has come in on Mahindra and Mahindra Finance. Dealers, on the basis of F&O trends, are recommending a buy today, sell tomorrow kind of a strategy as far as Mahindra and Mahindra Financial is concerned. Apart from Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services, MRF is another stock wherein dealers do indicate that HNIs at these levels are buyers. If you look at the entire auto and auto ancillary space, we have seen a bad quarter, but the stocks are bouncing from a 5-year low, 3-year low kind of period. So probably the time is ripe for auto stocks to bounce after the recent correction, is what HNIs believe at this point in time, and hence some bit of buying seen there. And finally, Wellspend Enterprise is another stock wherein dealers do indicate that the company is most likely to get some orders in the short term, which will keep the stock active. And on the back of that speculation, a lot of buying seen in today's trading session. Volume's not great though, but the stock is up 5%.
Right, Yatin, thanks very much for that. So those are, murmurs and the chatter in the dealing room this afternoon. 12 minutes left to go for market closing, and as we step into next week, it's going to be an interesting week to watch out for what happens in terms of all the news flow and the anticipation that the equity markets and the capital markets have from some big ticket announcements, whether or not they come in from the finance minister or no. But how should one look at it in terms of taking positions, whether or not you would take end of day positions, buy today, sell tomorrow, or sell today, buy tomorrow, ideas from both our technical experts. Pritish, let me get in your thoughts first.
See, our first recommendation for short term is Havels. Now, see, if you look at the current structure, the stock has gone through corrective period of 20 to 23%. But this is uptrending counter, and it tends to have a period of 20% plus correction every now and then. We had this kind of corrective move back in September, October 2018, and it found support after 24% correction. So it has completed price equality pattern, and the same coincides with the presence of 2-year mean. So I think we have seen a rally of 2% in this week's time, and there is a possibility we will continue to see follow-up buying coming in, because the stock has also made a bottom around the GAN number of 625. So yeah, there is a possibility that we might see more upside next 2 days. So buy for a target of 730.
Abhijit, what about you?
Yeah, I stick to that previous one which I said, TVS Motors, which has already gone up from 382 to 390. One other stock which I'm finding it a bit interesting is Tata Motors. It has shown a bit of a base making here near 120, 125. And with the stop loss below 117, I expect that to go towards 130, 135 in the maybe next 10 days.
Okay, by the way, Indiabulls Housing Finance is up 16% now. This is, and it's just going up and up in the last a couple of minutes of trade. So very sharp spike in a stock which was anyways heated on extremely high volumes, I might add. So if you look at the last 7 days, you will see the stock to be extremely volatile, down one day, up the next. Look at that. It's just been extremely volatile, but this 16 or 17% up move now, it's quite staggering. Now, we all know fundamentally what the reason is. I mean, the news flow surrounding this, lots reported. Wonder if it's a good trade. Abhijit, India Bulls Housing Finance.
No, there's a big, strong resistance near 510, 520 on the futures. So unless that is crossed, going long at this stage will be a bit risky. But above 515, 520, it's a good long.
Okay. No. Okay. So a bit of resistance out there, which stops Abhijit Pathak from going out and investing there. But 16% up, 516 and counting. It's quite remarkable the kind of move that we've seen today. Speaking of moves, I mean, in the last 30 or 45 odd minutes, on the index, maybe we haven't had too much, except for India Bulls Housing Finance. But Aditya Birla Fashion has spiked a bit. Endurance Technologies has gained further ground, and some real estate names like Suntech Realty haven't done too badly. So 3 or 4 names which have actually inched up slightly in the last few minutes of trade. Gurmeet, one stock that you're looking to accumulate right now.
Neeraj, both M&M and Chola, my view is, and if you look at the data, you look at the banks which were under PCA, which were put into PCA, the market share in deposits and credit has come down from 14% to some 6%. As per the latest data. I think once this manthan is over, I think you will see NBFCs with better liability profile, better parentage, emerge out stronger. And once with more diversified book, I think Chola and M&M fits that bill. Well capitalized, diversified book, do not have too much exposure to real estate and developer loans. So while obviously the Bajaj Finance still remains the top pick, I think some of the good NBFCs, quality NBFCs will do very well. So these two for me will, so Chola and M&M in that order. If you see the credit spreads have started contracting, you were mentioning bond yields. If you see the last 1 month return of well-managed credit funds, they are in excess of 12-13%. And with liquidity being surplus in the system, I keep seeing quotes from 980, 990 kind of borrowing 3-year NCD. The spreads are now more 940, 950 for some of the better managed ones. So as spreads contract, borrowing becomes easier, transmission happens, liquidity improves, you will see them not only gain market share, but also the net interest margins improving. So accumulate them, on dips, both Chola and M&M.
Okay, so Chola and M&M are 2 fundamental picks coming from Gurmeet. Thanks a lot, Gurmeet, for joining us today. Have a good weekend. Okay, just looking at the markets and stocks which have been reacting, we addressed MGL. The numbers came out yesterday. There's huge shorting, by the way, which has taken place because the open interest has surged quite significantly. The stock's also down about nearly 5% in trade. Abhijit, there is some action on the future side as well. Would you take a bet on Mahanagar Gas? If yes, what are the levels that one can watch out for?
It's right now in a no trade zone for me. I would wait, especially since this is a 3-day weekend, I would wait till Monday and then decide, depending on whether the lows are held on Tuesday or not. Okay. I would stay away from any trade.
Fair enough. Pritesh, we've seen a bounce back in a couple of these good quality stocks as well, from the likes of Titan, Bajaj Finance, which were coming under pressure because the markets were falling down, 2.5% higher for all of them. Would you take a bet either on Titan, Bajaj Finance, or for that matter, even HDFC Bank, that's up about over 2%?
HDFC Bank was the first one which started the move in this market. So I think to get a trade in this around these levels after the 5% move which we have seen, it would be a bit risky. But Titan definitely has caught our attention. It is in our buy list also. So I think the stock has corrected from 1300 odd levels, and it found support around the around 1000 level mark. It is also a GAN number, and we have seen that the stock has a tendency to respect the peak of the month of Jan 2019. So I think it's a good opportunity to get in this counter. We can see a move of at least 5 to 6% going ahead in this stock.
Eicher Motors is up 5% as well. It's a remarkable up move today in that one too. In addition to that, of course, we've also seen a fairly decent move in HDFC Bank, third day on a trot now, or second on a trot now, so good going there. The one that takes the breath away, of course, is India Bulls Housing Finance, but beyond that, there is a market which is doing well. Some final thoughts, a couple of stock chart checks, at least at the broader end of the spectrum, if not the large caps. Future Consumer up 14.5%. Motherson Sumi, really beaten down stock, up about 11%. Gurmeet was talking about maybe avoiding it fundamentally, but technically, Pritesh, Motherson Sumi on the charts.
Yes, in fact, the stock has disappointed a lot. We are talking about a sharp decline from the levels of 230 to 40. But yes, it has found some respite around the 90 level mark, and we have seen a recovery coming in. For the week it's up by 6%. But I would wait and watch. Certainly, it is just a one-off bounce which we have seen, which we are bound to see after a sharp corrective move. But I would wait for some sort of stability to come in this counter before taking a plunge.
Okay, and Abhijit, one final question. Even if you don't have a trading view, just a view on Yes Bank, which is down about 8%. It's around the levels from which it's usually bounced back. What would you do with the Yes Bank now?
Yes, everyone is watching that 79-80 level from where it has been bouncing back every time. But then it's difficult to take a trade, especially over a long weekend when it is very close to support. But yes, if it holds 78, 79, it is a good buy, but stop loss should be about 75 because there can be a small dip and then it can go up again. It is close to a support of 75, 80. Maybe that 79 might be breached for a small time, but I don't think it will go below 75.
Okay, gentlemen, stay on. We'll start wrapping up the markets and then come back to you with a final comment. We are not ending in the highest point of the day, but in the green nevertheless. Ahead of a really long weekend when the world markets are volatile, maybe this behavior is understandable, but this should go down as a positive close. Nevertheless, the banks have done very well. 342 odd points in the green for the Nifty bank, so not bad at all. The mid caps and the small caps should come up on your screen, and those two have done reasonably okay, which is why you have a market breadth which is about 5:2 in favor of the advances. Let me first talk about what's happened at the Nifty end of the market, because that's where we've seen gains which are similar to what gains in the mid cap space have happened. I mean, look at the kind of moves that Indiabulls Housing Finance is doing, 50.5% on close. It's quite remarkable, really. Such a volatile stock. Difficult if you get caught on the wrong foot. Then autos and auto-related names. So Eicher, Maruti, Bajaj Finance, all of them have done well. Bajaj Finserv too, gaining a lot. And HDFC and Kotak helping the auto index do well. Titan in between nudges in about 2.5% gains. What's not done well? Well, Yes Bank down about 8%. Cipla 3.5%. Hindalco 2.5%, Tech Mahindra about a couple of percentage points, and Tata Steel and ITC are amongst the others that have lost a bit of ground in the session today. But autos and financials certainly holding out in the session today as well. Not a bad close at all. And the market breadth, Navneet, fairly positive, which augurs well for the sentiment at large.
That's right, Neeraj. A big sigh of relief because the market breadth has improved in the last two sessions. We could be closing off the day's high, but a respite considering how we started this week. So let me start off with a couple of gainers from the broader markets. First, Motherson Sumi, yes, a beaten down counter, but a sharp rebound seen from the lower levels. Remember, this has became a two-digit stock until yesterday, but it's back above the mark of 100, closing around the levels of 107. You had bounce back for a lot of these NBFCs today. So L&T Finance was one stock which saw a sharp rebound, 4.5% higher here. Shriram Transport was the other one where some buying interest was seen in today's trade, 3.5% higher. Ujjivan Financial was the other stock where there was buying seen at lower levels, because as you can see the stock opened lower, but there was build-up seen during the session. So 5% higher for Ujjivan, and the tire companies have been in focus for the last 2 days. So you had MRF which came out with the numbers, the stock went up, but we've been reporting how there are long positions being built up for Balkrishna Industries in the last 2 to 3 sessions, and today also the stock went up. The numbers for Balkrishna come out tomorrow. Ahead of that, we've seen buying coming in on the cash side and long positions being built up on the future side. And Ambuja from the cement pack saw some bit of gains in today's trade. Ambuja closing with gains of about 3%. On the losing side, result reaction for NBCC, not great set of numbers at all. Revenues down 16%, profits down 38%. That's the reason why such a sharp fall was seen, 13% lower for the day. Page Industries saw selling pressure after it reported a negative volume growth for the first time ever, 4.5% lower here for Page Industries. And Cadila Healthcare was down. Last half an hour to 45 minutes, there was some selling pressure seen for a couple of these pharma companies, and I think it recovered from the lows, so closing around with cuts of about 1%. BHEL was the other stock where selling pressure was seen, and that's closing with cuts of 2.5%. MGL reported numbers which were pretty much much decent, though volume growth was a miss according to some brokerages. But interestingly, 5% lower on the cash side. Looking at the futures data, last when I checked, the open interest was up nearly about 45 to 46%. So not sure if something's brewing here, but definitely fresh shots seen post the numbers. Quick Heal was the other stock which fell in trade. And lastly, just want to report Jamna Auto after it came out with the numbers in last 45 minutes. There was selling pressure after the numbers. As you can see, the stock fell, recovered during the session, but post the numbers, the stock's closing with cuts of about 10%.
And add to that, the pain of the closure of their plants, that has also been a negative impact on the stock. But this is what you've got in terms of the daily close on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. 1.25% higher for the Nifty Bank. For the Nifty 50, you've got gains of closer to 0.75%. But it's good because we're closing about 11,100. So the weekly close is also positive. For the rest of the week, yesterday and today were good days. But how is the rest of the week shaped up? So we've been propelled into the green by the cumulative gains of the last 2 days. Hero MotoCorp with gains of about 10% in the last 1 week. Bharti Airtel 8%. Maruti Suzuki, HCL Technologies, Bajaj Finserv. Amongst the losers, you've got Yes Bank, Tata Motors, Cipla, State Bank of India, all of them losing some ground. Z Entertainment post numbers also didn't do a whole lot much. Post the announcement of the deal also 4.5% under for these stocks.
All right, that's for the Nifty constituents. Let's also check how the weekly performance panned out for the mid-cap stocks during the week, and that's the Nifty Mid-Cap 100 Index. That was also up about 1.6%. Among the gainers topping the list is Future Consumer, which went up about 16%. Aditya Birla Fashion is the other stock, which saw gains about nearly 11%. Besides that, SRF, after the numbers, has been doing well. That was up 10%. Manappuram Finance, I think this one comes up with the numbers next week, 10% higher for the week. And other stocks for Bata India, Balkrishna, we've been reporting. I think this will be coming out with the numbers tomorrow. Long positions have been seen in the last 2-3 days. And tire stocks have been in focus this week. So Apollo Tyres up also 8%. On the losing side, NBCC, bad set of numbers. Jindal Steel, Cummins, guidance cut, I think didn't augur well. That stock's down 10%. Couple of other losers, RBL, Reliance Infra, Dish TV, alongside Mangalore Refinery.
All right, so the weekly close is positive, led by the gains that we've seen over the last 2 trading sessions. For the index also has been a positive week, so not bad after a struggle that we've been seeing in the last 1 month. But quickly getting in some closing comments then. Pritesh, as we set up for trade, it's a long weekend, so we're going to come back only on Tuesday. What's it that we need to watch out for?
So first of all, we need to understand that this was important to create some sort of bottom, and we, as I mentioned, start of the show, 10,800 appears to be that mark. And for the first time after 4 weeks of consecutive decline, we are having a positive weekly close, and we are closing 1% higher. And apart from that, we are closing above the high of the month of Jan 2019. So the second positive thing we need to take away from this week's trade, I'm expecting a move towards 11,300 in next week's trade. So I think we could see a follow-up buying in next week.
What about you, Abhijit?
Yeah, I have the same view. It seems we have made a bottom. Maybe we might revisit 10,950 or 10,900 in the coming maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, because we have seen a big 300-point rise in just 2 days. But it still remains a buy on dip, and even I'm expecting 11,300 sometime in the next week or so.
All right, gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so very much for joining us this afternoon with your thoughts. And, can't take your eyes off what's been happening to the 10-year bond yields, 6.51 now. So that's a big intraday surge that we've seen. And all this has happened in just the last 15 minutes of trade. So it's up about 1.78 odd percent. Jayesh Mehta of Bank of America, he's joining us right now on the phone line. Mr. Mehta, thanks very much for taking out the time. What has led to this sudden spike in yields?
I think what we are hearing from the media, right, that is also kind of helping the sudden spike. It's like, yes, there have been talk about, package as it is. People have been concerned about fiscal slippage, fiscal shortfall. And if there is some growth package which is being announced, can add to more supply. So that had, till like last half an hour, you were still higher than 10 basis point over the policy time, right? So that was more because of the supply concern. Auction cutoff came much below the expected in terms of yield. It was higher, but in terms of price, it was much below the expectation of the market. Naturally, a lot of people who were at the tail, who didn't want the bonds, still got the bonds also, got allotted. And that's where the first round of sell-off happened immediately after the auction. So you can say 10 basis point, 12 basis points was before the auction cutoff. This was more because of the things which we are hearing, the market's hearing about, 1.65 shortfall plus another 1 lakh crore. People talking about, package. If it comes, we don't know whether it comes or not, but that was a worry. And the last 5-6 basis point is mainly because of the auction cutoff.
So Jayesh, do you think that this spike post what sounded to be a reasonably dovish budget, because I remember our conversation on the budget day, on the policy day as well, sorry, not budget, the policy, but do you think this 20 basis point spike takes into account some bit of the extra borrowing that the government may have to do in order to give out some dole-outs that we hear about?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? That we are all hearing from various sources that there could be a 1 lakh crore package. Even today morning, the newspaper said, some paper said that, there could be a package of 1 lakh crore coming in. And as it is,
Jayesh, Jayesh, so let me interrupt. What I meant to ask was, do you think that there could be further hardening on the 10-year if indeed the announcements would come in, if they do come in next week?
So if the announcement come in, our expectation was it would push up the yield by 30-40 basis point. We already seen almost like 12-13 basis point move, 15 basis point move actually. Maybe we can see another 30 basis point, 20 basis point move if the actual announcement comes.
So you're saying that it could nudge up to about 6.75 odd?
Yep. Maybe it might pierce it out for a short while if there is an additional 1 lakh crore borrowing.
You reckon buying would come in? Last question from mine, at least, Jayesh. You reckon buying would come in at these at those levels? I hear a lot of people saying that they want to get in, but the yields were just so low that it didn't warrant. Now, does it lead to some buying at those levels?
I think it's still demand supply, right? At the end of the day, let's be very honest about it. Indian banks are the large buyers, right? But at this moment, they haven't been buying, and also that weighs on the sentiment that the cutoff came much below expectation. And if there is an additional 1 lakh crore supply, and if the banks still don't buy enough, there is a problem. So I think it's demand supply. But I think once it settles down, if the actual announcement comes, we don't know. If the actual announcement comes, maybe 675, 680 is we may see once. But I think at that level the buying would come in again.
Okay, Jayesh, really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for giving us your thoughts. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this leg of countdown. The bond yields are the main focus point, but the equity markets haven't done too badly either. So let's wait and watch what happens next week. It's a long weekend, so hope everybody enjoys that. From Devina and me and everybody who put this show together at least, thank you so much for watching this leg of countdown. And of course, the Bloomberg Quint's market wrap comes up next. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Bloomberg Quint Live. Let's take a look at how the markets have fared today and what they've done through the course of this week. I'm going to start off with how the days panned out today, and we have seen more gains. About 0.7% gain for the Nifty, with strength coming in Indiabulls Housing Finance, Eicher Motors, Maruti Suzuki and Bajaj Finance. On the losing end, we have Yes Bank. Well, this is especially after we had some more details and data come in on the QIP. Cipla, Hindalco, as well as Tech Mahindra, looking weak for now. But how about the broader market? And again, at least as far as the index is concerned, that's moved in tandem with the benchmarks. But we do have the likes of Endurance Technology, quite a recovery, especially after the 20% lower circuit that the company was locked in yesterday. And of course, we also have Future Consumer, Deepak Fertilizers, Suzlon, all advancing by as much as 10% or more. But on the losing end, we do have more weakness for NBCC India, Reddington, Jagran Prakashan, Jamna Auto, SL Propack, all losing out in trade. Of course, to some extent, some of these are losing out on account of earnings. But to take a look at how these indices have panned out through the course of the week, despite the fact that the beginning, that is the first 3 days of this particular week, were very, very volatile, we're eventually seeing the Nifty close in the green by as much as 1%. So we've seen an advance come through the course of the week, and Hero MotoCorp leading the gains here. We also have good gains in Bharti Airtel, HCL Technologies, Maruti Suzuki. And on the losing end, of course, Tata Steel continues to remain under pressure, as is the case for Yes Bank, UPL, and again, Cipla, and State Bank of India among the heavier weights bearing down on the indices. What about the broader market index? What about the NSE 500? That's also advanced by as much as 1%, but Jet Airways looking at an up move of 27%. And G&K Bank, Venki is of course also reacting to earnings there, as far as KEI Industries and Sharda Cropchem are concerned, among others, which have also advanced. Coffee Day Enterprises continues to tumble downwards. Cox & Kings and Time Technoplast, along with some of the other names that we did mention in just a few moments ago, all looking at significant declines. That said, let's take a look at all the events that were very important, that actually set the course for the market. So early on Monday, August 5th, China let the yuan tumble below the crucial level of 7 per dollar for the first time since the financial crisis, and this sent the global currency and equity markets in a tizzy. Back home in India, Home Minister Amit Shah proposed the abrogation of Article 370 of the Indian Constitution and introduced the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill. The Rajya Sabha passed both in a record 8 hours. On Tuesday, August 6th, the Lok Sabha too voted to revoke the special status provided to Jammu and Kashmir and to divide the state into 2 union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. And the US formally named China a currency manipulator in a sign of escalating trade tensions between the two countries. On Wednesday, 7th August, in a surprise for markets experts who were expecting a 25 basis point cut, the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee cut the repo rate by 35 basis points. And the MSCI added HDFC Life Insurance to its Global Standard Index and removed Union Bank of India from the Global Small Cap Index. And of course, we are at the end of the earnings season, and for the first quarter of FY20, let's take a look at all the big names that came out through the course of the week. And we've actually had more positive surprises in comparison to negative ones. So we do have Adani Ports, Tata Steel, Ultratech Cement and Hindalco looking at earnings which were good and ahead of expectations. With mixed numbers coming in for something like an HCL Tech or Cipla, but also largely in line. Of course, we all know about the weakness expected, the moderation expected in Titan. Britannia, M&M and Indiabulls Housing Finance, on the other hand, were below expectations. That said, let's move on and talk about the levels that we can watch out for as we move into trade next week based on futures and options cues. Options specifically in this case, you have maximum open interest in the 11,000 put, and on the higher end it's the 11,500 calls. So it's a 500-point range. We're closer to 11,000 currently, but we're expecting the Nifty to move within this range, at least in the near term. We'll be waiting and watching how things pan out eventually. That said, let's also take a look at, some of the earnings that we are expecting next week. So on Tuesday, August 13th, we will have, Coal India, ONGC and Sun Pharma. Of course, we've already had earnings from Taro. On Wednesday, we will have earnings from Grasim. So these are some of the names that will also be in focus as we move into the final leg of earnings as far as this particular earnings season is concerned. But before we end the show, let's also take a look at some of the events that we can keep an eye on. So we do have Reliance Industries AGM on Monday 12th. Of course, it's a trading holiday, but we do have several earnings coming out that day. And of course, we will keep an eye on the AGM. On Tuesday, 13th of August, we have the CPI as well as the trade data come in as well. And moving on, we have WPI data, which will be released on Wednesday. And besides that, we're also keeping an eye on, of course, the Independence Day celebrations. That is again a trading holiday. So again, we will have a rather elongated, truncated week. That said, those are just a few of the many events that we're going to keep an eye on, and that should, including the holidays, should very well, influence the trade, considering we just have 3 trading days this upcoming week. So we'll be watching out for that. Well, on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but that's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.
Exceptional story, Pursuits by Škoda, only on Bloomberg Quint.
Hello and welcome. I am Agam Vakil. This is the market wrap. Perhaps some respite offered for those who are long in the markets, considering we did see some advance for the Nifty, advancing by 0.3%, and that's largely following the kind of weakness that we have been used to on the benchmarks. So starting off with your gainers, we have advances in IndusInd Bank, Tata Steel, Yes Bank. So some banks out there, seeing a little bit of recovery, especially those which are under pressure or which have been under pressure of late. And we have Indian Oil Corp, and I'm going to address the earnings in just a bit. Hero MotoCorp and Sun Pharma also advancing. On the losing end, however, we have Z Entertainment, that's down 5.3%. Axis Bank is something that we're also going to address right now. We have weakness in Bharti Airtel, Titan Company, and Bharti Infratel. In the broader markets, we have 3 gainers for 2 losers, not much to speak for. Otherwise, of course, an improvement in the advanced decline ratio, but Triveni Turbine, along with the 2 ADAG companies advancing in trade, gaining over 10%. Quest Corp is also seeing significant recovery today after the kind of weakness the stock has seen. Coffee Day Enterprises locked in another 20% down circuit, of course, following unfortunate circumstances with respect to the company's owner. Sadbhav Engineering, Jayaprakash Associates, Andhra Bank, as well as Bombay Dyeing, all declining in trade. But on that note, I'm going to get in our markets editor Neeraj Shah for his perspective. Neeraj, a little bit of recovery, but you wouldn't really want to read too much into it.
I don't think anybody, you're right, nobody would. Maybe oversold levels, which is what everybody's been saying, and therefore a bit of a bounce there. Don't know. The FI selling the last 2 days slightly slower, so people will attribute that. It'll be interesting to see the number today. But ahead of the Fed meeting, maybe short sellers thought, let's not really chance our arm. What if the Fed surprises really positively and the world markets are really active positively? Then what happens to those short positions? That's probably the only thing, because otherwise, nothing in terms of numbers or data cues or otherwise have really helped the markets today per se. It's not that the results set the stage on fire. I shared in a couple of numbers anyways post-market hours, so nothing out there is either. Again, auto sales numbers due to come out tomorrow, not expected. The Bloomberg Quint Dealer Survey said that the numbers are not going to be great. So fundamentally nothing wrong. Technically, maybe because oversold, sub the 200-day moving average, consistent downtake, worst July in so many number of years, some 17 years or something, is what Yash's story suggested. So maybe a bit of a small respite. Mid-caps bounce a lot more. And let's see if the Fed obliges and the world markets are active. Maybe some more uptick tomorrow. But I doubt that people will be really going out and cracking those longs in a hurry.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Neeraj, thanks for that perspective there. So we're going to be watching out for some of those cues coming in from abroad. But, well, domestically, let's start by talking about Indian Oil Corp. We had earnings there. Well, it was a mixed set, honestly, considering the kind of movement that we've seen. So on a quarter-on-quarter basis, we have seen net revenues rise 4.2%. We have seen net profit, however, decline by as much as 41% quarter-on-quarter. EBITDA margins coming in at around 6.35% against, pardon me, 8.6%, and that is largely on account of weakness that we have seen in the marketing performance, because that has been on the weaker side. We have Prabal Sen from Centrum Broking, who says that the refining performance, and don't forget that the gross refining margins coming in at around $4.69 per barrel for the first quarter, has been slightly better. But when it comes to the some of the other aspects, we certainly have seen a decline. That said, we did see the stock close with gains of around 4%. We're going to have to wait for a few more brokerages before we can decide what to do with Indian Oil Corp. But from one nifty company to another, Axis Bank is the other stock which is also in focus, but this time on the losing end. It's down 4.6%. And I have Shefali Malik with me, who's joining us to give us an idea about what's the reason behind this.
Well, the reason is that in the con call last evening, the management gave more disclosures on the asset quality, something which were, not disclosed earlier, not factored in by the street. Sure. So basically what the management says is that to the stressed groups which have been in focus since last couple of months, their total exposure is about 12,200 crore rupees, out of which 6,700 crore rupees is something which were not a part of the watch list reported by the management earlier, or the stressed assets. So it was 6,700 crore rupees outside of the stressed assets list. Other than that, 2,800 crores more of non-fund based exposure. So you're adding all of this, their total stressed assets work out to be 20,000 crore rupees. So including the existing watch list which the management had disclosed as part of the earnings. So this 20,000 crores works out to be around 4% of the total loans, which is much higher than 2.5% reported earlier. So as much as I could simplify, so 4% versus 2.5%. So basically higher, and that is something which the street didn't like, and hence the reaction on the stock price.
Okay, fair enough, Shefali. Thanks so much for joining us and getting us an update on Axis Bank. Watch out for that, and two other stocks we're also keeping an eye on. We have Sharad Dubey, who's joining us to give us an update on the same. Sharad, what's on your list today?
Yes, two stocks have actually come up with a set of numbers. The first one being Apollo Tyres. Now you see the price reaction happening here. The results come out around 2 o'clock, and the stock went up as high as almost ended the day at around 157 odd rupees. Now if you go through the numbers, this has actually marginally beat the estimates. Revenues are flat at around 4,331 odd crore rupees, and the net profit and EBITDA was down by almost 43% and 12%. But if we see on the gross margin basis, on a sequential basis, did actually increase by around 150 odd basis points despite elevated commodity prices coming in. However, these gains were limited, as higher. It was offset by higher overheads. But however, the stock did react positively. Up next, we are having Allahabad Bank, which came out with its results as well today. But the stock reaction was positive the moment the results came. It went up as high as 3%, but closed the day at 37 rupees per share. Now, if you go through the numbers, the net interest income is down 10% at around 1,530 odd crore rupees. But the bank, the recapitalization was also happening, coming in from the bigger banks, from the government, I mean to say, and the profit stood at around 128 crores, while last year then there was a net loss of around 1,944 odd crore rupees. Now, looking at the GNPA stood at around 17.43% versus 17.5% on a Q-on-Q basis, while NNPA stood at around 5.71% versus 5.22% on a Q-on-Q basis. Apart from this, the bank also approved raising around 2,000 crore rupees via QIPs. So I think these two stocks were Agam, buzzing in the mid-cap space today due to the earnings.
All right, Sharad, thanks for getting us the other two stocks which are also in focus. So, once again, there's plenty of other things to keep an eye on. We will keep on getting earnings as well and reactions on the same. But on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.
There is a new member in the Monetary Policy Committee. RBI Deputy Governor BP Kanungo has replaced Viral Acharya on the 6-member panel. What's not changed is the overall growth environment, which has shown no signs of a turnaround. Inflation, meanwhile, inching upwards, has also stayed below the RBI's medium-term target. Add to it the recent spike in unemployment, and it is enough and more case for another rate cut. Hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. I'm Neeraj Shah, and this is our special coverage of the RBI monetary policy. Hi, Devina.
Hi, Neeraj. And we'll have the answer within the next 15 minutes or so when the announcement is made public. Joining us right now to talk about all the factors that you mentioned and more is Subhda Rao. She's the chief economist at Yes Bank in our studios with us, along with Arvind Chari. He's the head of fixed income at Quantum Advisors, and they will take us through what the bond markets are expecting and the overall perspective from the market standpoint with Chakri Lokpriya of TCG Asset Management. He'll also be here with us shortly. But I want to throw it open first to you, Subhda. Are you going with consensus 25 basis points?
Yes, absolutely. So we are looking at a 25 basis point rate cut. And importantly, the commentary alongside, particularly on growth, will be watched out for, because probably that is the one which will give a cue for the next rate action in October. With all probability, RBI is likely to set its growth forecast lower compared to the 7%, which in turn had been revised lower from April. So consecutive lower growth forecasts imply that probably monetary stimulus will still continue. The cues will be watched out for. What does the RBI think on the current liquidity? Accommodative stance will continue, no doubt about it. But what is the extent of liquidity? Growth projections. I don't think inflation is a point of worry. We have seen now almost a year of well below 4% inflation, and the forthcoming cues do not point to any escalation in the momentum of inflation. Maybe sporadic through food inflation in the coming months, but I guess with monsoon performance getting better with the months, that risk also may subside. Fuel prices, once again, thanks to the trade related uncertainties, have begun to recede from their recent peaks. More importantly, if you look at core inflation, which is a barometer to the demand conditions in the economy, not just the year-on-year core inflation, which has come off significantly to about 4% and thereabouts, the monthly momentum is almost flattish. Yeah. If you look at the last month's core inflation momentum, we would be watching out for that, because that clearly tells you that demand conditions in the economy are weakening, and therefore core inflation would be washed out. With all probability or likelihood, maybe the next inflation print may have a core in negative territory on a monthly momentum basis, and that will articulate RBI's monetary policy stance as to how much further room can we look for a rate support.
Arvind, in fact, then, while we're talking about a possibility of, a further cut in GDP forecast, yep, which again points towards the, grassroots level issues that we're facing in the economy. In light of that, then would you say that maybe they could probably front load a 50 basis points cut instead of a 25 basis points cut?
I actually sent out a pre-policy note where I mentioned that should Das do a Powell. So you saw the Fed cutting by 25 basis points, and then Powell indicating that I'm not saying it's only one, but there's a lot more that you expect. And just to take a background of this, if you see Indian repo rate trajectory over the last 20 years, repo rate below 6% and the RBI being accommodative has happened only twice in the last 20 years. One was during 2002, 2003 in that slowdown, and one was after Lehman crisis 2008. So this is not a common occurrence. Indian inflation tends to be 4.5%, 5% kind of average. So going below 6 in repo and being accommodative is not something that occurs regularly. So that's the context, historical context. Today we have a space. The RBI definitely has space from a inflation perspective, and this RBI is a inflation targeting central bank. Every other aspect, if you look at liquidity, currencies outside the remit of the Monetary Policy Committee. So the MPC is focused on inflation. 1 year forward inflation has remained below 3.5% for the last 6 months, their own average 1 year forward average. So if you add 1.5% real rates to that, you still get a repo rate of 5%. So there is scope for them to go, but I think the focus has moved to growth, and I think Shubhada rightly mentioned that this is a policy where you have to look at whatever expectations you're looking at should come from growth. And we were a bit surprised that when they cut last and they moved accommodative, they kept the GDP forecast at 7%, which is very unlike. I mean, they should have lowered the GDP forecast. So I believe the extent to which they lower the GDP forecast should sort of give an indication that how low can they go in this cycle.
But you're going about 25 right now, and commentary-dependent rate cuts in the future. That seems to be
25 right now, and because monetary policy excesses and fiscal policy excesses do not end well in India. So you have space, but you have to calibrate it. It's lower and lower.
Judiciously. Okay. Chakri Lokpriya from TCG also joins us right now on the show. Chakri, good having you. What do you think the equity markets are pricing in? 25, more than 25? And does any of the actions, either the commentary or the action, augur positively? Because I tell you right now, the equity markets are watching for a lot more. Maybe some moves from the FPI side, maybe some action from the Reserve Bank of India. What can the RBI do?
Well, hello. I think clearly the market is expecting clearly 25 or more, and that wouldn't really move the needle in terms of the market's direction upwards. I think it's more than RBI. What is needed is clarity on the policy front on how FPI is going to be taxed. Will they remove the surcharge? What will they do to the auto industry? GST tax rates. It's more policy, I think, rather than what the RBI can do, because while easing the RBI easing rates is clearly important, but what is more important is to reinvigorate growth. The climate of growth is not there right now, and which needs to be addressed.
Certainly, sir. Shubhada, that's the point, and I think Anand Bagri was making this. Anand was making this.